Wake up, gamers, because you're listening to Big Think Dimension with Dan and Bob Video Games. I'm coming back for all the Stadia money.
Oh, good.
Chris Wolfhard.
Stadians, we got too cocky.
And Dr. Aggro.
I still believe in Stadia.
Here on GigaBoots.
You mean like in the way one might believe in a god that doesn't show his existence through a material effect, but you know in your heart he's still there?
Yes, you need to respect that I said that I believe in a thing, and so now no laws can apply to me ever.
Ooh.
Oh.
You know, I can't say you're fundamentally stupider for believing in Stadia now than you would have been years ago.
That's an ironic thing.
Funny, ain't it? Funny how that works.
It's exactly as real now as it ever was.
Same as it ever was. As I wake up to a device that does absolutely nothing.
The service might actually be better now.
What does that mean? Like, how is it better? It doesn't do anything?
It'll have
The
less
video
lag.
quality be higher.
Oh, nice. Fantastic.
Instead of relying on modern internet infrastructure, it uses the unlimited power of your imagination.
Wow. These games will download so fast. Yeah, this is fantastic fucking news. Obviously. No person on Earth could overstate how great this is. Another Silicon Valley initiative slain.
Yes, we need to see how many of these we can get to slam into the wall before they stop.
I imagine Phil Harrison is probably not particularly happy, considering it's yet another checkbox mark next to everything Phil Spencer touches dies.
Phil Harrison,
Not Phil Spencer, Phil Harrison. Why can't they have a fucking CEO that's named head of Xbox that their name isn't Phil? Is that like one of the requirements?
Look, gaming attracts Phils. That's just facts. These are facts. These are gamer facts. I don't know what else to tell you.
I do have to wonder if Phil Harrison just leaves the industry now.
Oh yeah, he's done. He's done. He's done.
I certainly hope.
Because a developer's too small for him. He's a CEO type. He would never start a developer, which means the only place left for him to go is a spot at a publisher. And I don't think any of them will take that. I think
there's actually a very great place for him to go, which Aggro has in his news.
Ooh, an exciting toss.
Hints for later.
And a point downfield.
Call the shot. I mean, what kind of an amazing walking L is it that no, all of my skills are executive skills, which means I don't fucking have any.
No, it's really great. You're great at
every
managing.
Single thing I have ever executed has been executed.
You're not good at managing teams. You're good at managing people who manage teams.
You are good at delegating actual responsibility to people who know what the fuck they're doing.
Ooh,
but that means when something goes wrong, you take responsibility, right? Oh
no, absolutely.
I get paid more, ironically.
They pay me to actually leave.
It's pretty good, actually. Yeah, this is great. This is a great moment. But yeah, I do wonder, Bob, how many more times do we have to pull the Joker pencil trick? Silicon Valley initiatives before they stop lining up to be that guy in the Dark Knight.
How long do you think Luna has?
I think Luna's gonna probably last longer than Stadia, like time of birth to time of death, because it's less effort. It's just a PC. You don't have to convince people on this huge ask that is, no. Please get your game running on our Linux server blade.
They also aren't going and giving publishers millions of dollars to bring games to it.
Yeah.
As far as we know.
I mean, there was a Ubisoft
They're probably
deal for
giving
sure.
a little bit.
Yeah.
But not much because it's just PCs. It's like, just let us do this, please.
You know the funniest thing? We have a hardware that is literally useless to us box. Here are the things that reside in that box. A Chromebook, a Luna controller, and the Stadia controller didn't even earn that. It got completely buried. That thing has a college level calculator in it, and those two other things. That's basically it for them.
I thought you were about to explain, like, no, every single thing in the box of uselessness is a Google product.
That's what I was expecting too, honestly.
That would require us to have more than two, because we have Stadia and we have the Chromebook, and past that, This, by the way, is why when people go, the Google Pixel has a really great camera, I go, I don't care. Because you motherfuckers are absolutely pushing me towards yet another Google product that's going to have a monkey's paw, and there's no way. No way. Absolutely not. For anyone who's curious, we bought the Chromebook to read chat. That's all we needed it to do. It was not good enough to read chat.
That?
No, it was not good enough to read chat. This was 5 years ago or something, when a viewer was like, Chromebook's fine. You could use a Chromebook for that. It's cheap. And I'm like, sure.
It's still mind-boggling.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how you can't keep it. And it's like, it's Google's own product and YouTube, right? It's YouTube chat, because that's where we streamed 5 years ago. As a reminder, we're going to try out streaming Big Think Dimension on YouTube next week as a joke. So please tune in at youtube.com/GigaBoots live or /live. I think that should do it. But there'll be links on Twitter and the Discord and everything else. And you should get a YouTube notification. Anyway, we're going to try it. Did you ban that person afterward? No. Elsewise, that person has really good tips and advice on games. But yeah, that's I'm just glad. I'm elated. I don't know what the next, like, hey Dan, do you find this attractive? Yes, I do. Okay, how do we crank that up? What if Game Pass just failed right now? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I need every game streaming service to fail and Game Pass itself to fail.
Right.
But I know
Game Pass is gonna persist until Phil Spencer leaves Xbox.
Yeah, because it's his plan.
I mean, there's a number of reasons that statement would be correct, right? Of he will leave Xbox because he is told to leave Xbox because Game Pass did not succeed.
Exactly, yes.
And there are so many ways that can go, and I think that is true. I was just thinking about it and thinking about how, like, somewhere in the 8th gen, I think we got to a really balanced economy of, like, games being $15, $10 some of the time, and having these really nice experiences relative to 7th gen and whatever, a more balanced system. And now there's been, like, the way I think about Game Pass is, like, you're basically convincing the entire audience on Xbox to never buy a low-budget game ever again. They're just going to ask for it to come to Game Pass. Mm-hmm. And I think that's a real shame, because I think we were moving closer and closer to what I find ideal, which is a range of prices and experiences. But yeah, genuinely, I don't know of any other, like, what's the next best thing after Stadia crashing hard? That's all I could think of. I don't know. And just to couple this statement here, because people always hear that and then go, why do you not? If Game Pass was that good of a deal for devs, then why do they beg people to buy their game? Why do I have
Game Pass
first
was a
party?
good deal? Why has, like, the retail release at launch, like, totally dried up for Game Pass?
Not only that, why do I have firsthand accounts of developers being like, yeah, our publisher got a nice cut. We got shit because our contract didn't account for them getting a giant payout from a platform that would let it on a subscription plan.
It's
Right.
really ridiculous, like, how much it is exactly like a streaming service, because some writer, long-term TV writer, posted on Twitter the other day, like, the first TV show I ever wrote, my first residuals check for a TV show I wrote a season of was $12,000. My first residual check for a thing I wrote for streaming was $4,000.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
4,000, right?
No.
No.
So it, like, of course, developers will get washed by this. It's one of those things where,
Right.
like, legalese has not caught up
Mm-hmm.
to the
No.
fucking insane plans. Like, we see that with, like, Uber and Airbnb and shit, where, like, the, like,
Yeah,
law has not caught up. It's
and
just
it can't.
like,
No.
and businesses are like, if we run fast enough, we don't have to pay people.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
law
absolutely.
cannot catch up and force us to pay.
It's like when synthetic cannabinoids were going around, all that
Uh huh.
fake laboratory pot. They'd outlaw one strain and they'd change it a little bit, and suddenly it's legal again. And we're just gonna keep doing that with apps and services and gigs and shit
and new paradigms.
It's like how, well, pot is still illegal in most states, but if you go into almost any gas station in the country, you can buy something that is legally distinct from pot just enough.
Yep.
To not be illegal, but is functionally the same, except it has less FDA oversight than legal weed would.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But yeah. Anyways, get to the news. Fuck everyone.
Oh no!
You played nothing, gentlemen. But no, Chris definitely played something. Please be excited. Bob and I played Armored Core 4, 4 Answer, and Formula Front. Ironically, Formula Front not in the 4 trilogy.
No.
You would think after 4 Answer is Formula Front.
Right,
might be.
Formula, Jesus Christ.
Now I'm imagining it like written out as if a bunch of random math symbols. Like,
that would be really good. So it's a quadratic like title card.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. But yeah, no. Covering Formula Front first. Formula Front, for people who don't know, the PSP. It was a portable. They wanted to bring the Armored Core experience to that. FromSoft's answer was, what if we let you design the AI and you watched it battle? And when they came to bring that to America, Age Tech, I suppose, said, yeah, I'm going to need this to let the player play the goddamn game. I don't care how bad it is. No one wants to do that. Because those AI creation tools are bad. Really, really bad.
Yeah, they're much worse than I would expect.
It is exactly as uninteresting as I thought. There isn't a single... Like, the AI creation is not engaging at all. It basically goes like this. You have 5 points of data and a slider that goes up and down. It's like, do you want close range or long range? Do you want this or that? Then you spend points on AI awareness on a few different factors. And then the last thing, this is the most, because we have games like Carnage Heart on the PS1 where you get to make if-then flowing AI sort of you're constructing.
Mm-hmm.
This is the closest thing they have to that. It goes, okay, what do you want them to do 30 seconds in? And I'm like, that's fucking arbitrary. I need to know more than how many seconds have passed, motherfucker. That's like you enter the bathroom. Within 5 seconds, take off your pants. It's a public bathroom. And the stalls are full. And I just start disrobing outside the stall.
Every time I see a game that has, like, you can control your, like, sit what you want them and it's bad, I'm like, guys, Dragon Age 1 had a lot of problems. Mm-hmm. But I could, like, show you a cell phone picture from, like, 2007 of that game's party AI menu, and it's better than everything we've done since. What the fuck?
Yeah, I don't know. Carnage Heart,
except in Dragon Age, you still had to buy more slots for it, which was weird.
Yeah.
That seems typical because I feel like you had to do that for Final Fantasy 12 as well. Like, that was just an idea behind you're building an AI, and how do we make that?
That makes sense, because if something was in a BioWare game, it was probably in a popular game from 2 or 3 years prior.
Yeah. As
evidenced by the fact that after Mass Effect 1, they were just like, let's make it Gears of War.
So as an experience, no, I don't want to play Armored Core where you chopped off 2 of the shoulder buttons and now looking up and down is automated. I don't want to do that at all. I don't want to make AI in that bad tool set. So that stream lasted exactly as long as we thought it would. It was like 2 hours and 20 minutes, which is what I had been prepping people for all month. Where it's just like, okay, guys, we're doing it. You just hit a brick wall and you go, no, it's fine. I don't care. I'm done. So then we went on to watch Asian street food videos live on Twitch. One of my favorite comments was, if you ever needed to watch a stream full of Dan making the Kubrick stare. As I'm just like... Dancing Bacons is a great YouTube channel. You guys should give them a shot. if you're not sure you'll like it, please go watch that fucking VOD. It has the best thumbnail in the world. Armored Core 4 is the what number is it again? There's so many.
Oh my
12?
god, 11th?
No.
Maybe, yeah, probably.
I think you include Formula Front, and that makes it the 12th.
Okay.
It is the 12th Armored Core game. They have completely redone a number of core elements of Armored Core. Your mech is much lighter. It has a quick turn functionality. The box that you need to keep enemies in doesn't exist anymore. It's the whole field of view. You're much lighter. You don't need to worry about heat. You don't need to worry about energy just completely expending and then needing to refill, like slowly, and not being able to use energy weapons that whole time. It is a very, very different experience. Going back and knowing that Armored Core 4 is a launch title for the PS3 in Japan helped me reframe what that game was.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this is admirable, actually. It's noble, actually, that they got this shit done. As such, I can no longer have a chip on my shoulder about Armored Core 4. That was the first Miyazaki-directed game at FromSoft. Worth noting.
It has the worst garage/menu system in the whole franchise.
It is inconceivable how they arrived at it.
Yes.
How do I fucking So you're building something.
Okay.
And you're in your garage building that something. But your garage is no longer called the garage. It's called Axis. ACSIS. And we're going to put in the part menu, where you would normally see the things you own, everything in the game. So you just have to keep scrolling and keep scrolling and keep scrolling and keep scrolling. No matter how simple the swap is, forever. Most of the time in Armored Core streams, I enjoy being in the garage. I enjoy working on the shit. This one, the menus just make absolutely no sense in that way, and a few other ways that are just...
Yeah, every time you go in, it's like, do you want to load a schematic? It's like, what do you mean? I just want to alter my mech. And then you just click through it like it's a random pop-up window.
Yeah. Yeah, you would finish assembling, and then you would go to exit. It's like, you want to save your schematic? I'm like, yeah. And then I go to exit. It's like, you can't afford your own mech. And I'm like, what do you mean I can't afford my own mech? And they're like, you didn't buy it. You just made the schematic. And I'm like, why are you like this? They also hide how much money you have and how much shit will cost. You have to dig to find out either. So that's not a great experience.
Deal breaker.
Yes, legit. But that's all I'm going to say about Armored Core 4, Bob.
Yeah, I kind of like the new way it plays, but oh my god, seeing videos of the 360 version running after playing the PS3 just makes me angry.
Yeah.
Because the 360 version actually runs.
Yeah, it runs pretty well. It runs basically up to par for the series up until then. Like, it runs as well as like Nexus and stuff. A little bit of slowdown, a little bit of running, which, you know, difference between a PS2 game and a 7th gen game. 7th gen game will just drop frames and fuck up hit collision, and all sorts of other shit. PS2 game will slow down.
Right.
And that's why dropping frames on a 7th gen game fucking is infuriating. Luckily nowadays a lot of games are way better at dealing with, I just shit my pants when it came to the frame rate. Don't worry though, hit detection worked in the meantime.
Don't worry, the game was still running at an optimal frame rate. We just weren't showing you all of those frames.
We just couldn't update you on all the latest news on how that was going. Then we moved on to 4 Answer on Sunday. Wait, actually, we did it on Saturday. We said we would do it on Sunday, and then we did it on Saturday. 4 Answer's main innovation, other than not being a PS3 launch title, which has unspeakable benefits, is they have, what did they call the system? They strap a shuttle rocket to the back of your mech to fly you into gigantic mech enemy war zones. So, like, you're attacking a fortress, and they're like, we're going to need you to get in there as fast as hell. The fortress is firing giant lasers at you too. So you're doing side boosts around these giant lasers.
Oh, okay, so there is an anti. I'm like, so they send a giant rocket with you on it into the enemy fortress. I've got a better plan of what we can strap to the giant rocket that's going at the enemy fortress.
Go off.
No, Edgar, we're more deadly than any missile.
That is true. We have the Moonlight Sword. But
it's that fucking Ginsu missile that the CIA still says we don't have, but it's just Moonlight greatswords popping out of it.
Damn. So if you can imagine, we're still playing the PS3 versions, unfortunately. Bob's having to dodge these gigantic lasers on split second, like you barely see it before you need to hit the dodge, and the frame rate's just shitting itself because we're still on PS3. And I'm just really bitter because I literally just bought 4 Answer 5 and Verdict Day on PS3. And as I sit there and go, okay, now that these 2 streams are done, I'm going to go back and play 4 on the 360. We realize the 360 power supply is missing. I can't even.
No,
I can't even do that.
Oh yeah, we gotta bring up Miyazaki was already the best comedian in the business.
Oh yes. This is the single best story to come out of both of these games. So we beat Armored Core 4. It opens up this whole mission select that just lets you see all the missions in the game, what rank you got, if you beat them, and you can hit the square button to change to hard mode. So I rinsed the final boss when I finally got to try it, because I swapped our equipment so that way I could stay way the fuck away from this asshole. This dude, Armored Core 4 has some interesting lore that they have a thing called Kojima particles. And the Kojima particles are just hyper radiation. This mech is so fucking huge, it literally can't outmove without that. So its pilot, it's supposed to be a normal Armored Core size. But any reasonable, if you built it out, it would not move at all. So it's got this gigantic laser cannon with canisters all across it that is 3 times the height of your character just going out. And this other fucking thing, like missile array and all this other shit. Motherfucker couldn't move normally. So this dude, White Glint, is just exploding with Kojima particles to hyper boost between 2. He virtually does not exist between these 2 points. He is here, he hits the mega boost, and then he's here.
Yeah, no,
and
he's
this
got
boss
flashbacks.
battle's fucking nuts, and it rules. And I just come in with the bazookas, and I'm like, we're gonna stay 50 feet in the air at bare minimum and shoot him with the bazooka from there and pray. And he hits a second phase in this boss battle, worth noting, where he just starts over, like, he basically, instead of doing a mega boost forward or a mega boost anywhere, he explodes into a Kojima Nova bomb. Just giant fucking explosion of radiation. Does a shitload of damage. There's no, like, vocal tell of, we are now in phase 2. I'm going to blow up anything anywhere near me. So I only know about that because of Bob's runs on him. So I'm like, if we stay in the air and we stay away and we use weapons that are ammo-based instead of energy-based, we won't run out of energy and come crashing to the ground and he'll explode on us. So I rinse him on normal. We do predictions. I'm like, I'm going to try him on hard. Am I going to get him on my first try? I start the thing on hard. We boot it. I rinse him immediately. It was mildly harder. And I just start gloating and doing a literal victory dance. Because he's exploded into white energy everywhere. And as it fades back down, I see his mech just dead with Kojima particles coming up out of it. And now there's another mech standing next to it. And I'm like, what the fuck just happened? That guy made the final boss look like a fucking joke. And the whole time he's like, this is what held you up. I told you this would be nothing. He wrecks me. Just instantly wrecks me. And I'm like, Miyazaki, you are the funniest man that has ever lived. I thought for a second, in the lore of Armored Core, that literally was his mech molting and evolving into the next level. That shit was hilarious. That was the funniest thing in either of these games.
It's like you beat the slow ass armored core mech, and then fucking Anubis shows up and just eviscerates you.
Yeah, basically, like the first guy was fast. The second guy made that guy look like he was not trying. It was absolutely insane. It was so good. It was so good. I was like, maybe Armored Core 4 is a great game, actually. I don't know.
And then we heard later that apparently in For Answer, some of those missions where you shot in on a missile, your boost pack gives out halfway through on hard mode.
Oh, yeah, no, the missile just... The fucking shuttle rockets have a fucking error and halfway into the battlefield. Which halfway... let me explain. With the shuttle rockets, you're traveling not at kilometers per hour, but megameters per hour. So if it gives out halfway, that is a long fucking distance to walk.
Yes.
There's so many giant mechs between you and the important one, the gun fortress.
Just realized how often is it that a 7th gen game is elevated by its final boss fight being really good?
Let me think. Oh god, I'm sure there must be at least one.
I'm like, Vanquish's final boss was really good, but it was great leading up to that.
Uncharted
Yakuza
2's
4's no, the actual final guy in Yakuza 4 is terrible, but the whole sequence is good.
You were saying something about Uncharted 2, Bob?
Uncharted 2's final boss is hilarious. Does that count?
Yeah, I love that guy.
It's pretty great.
The way he yells Drake's name is just like, oh man, this guy rules. He's scary as hell.
Right.
Yeah.
It's terrifying.
No, that was the gen where it's like bosses are really expensive, so we have to convince people they're inherently bad. Tell everyone to write articles about how they're bad.
Yeah, that shit was weird. It's really amazing when you just see a bunch of journalists go, hi, I'm here to write an entire article that reflects that I'm ignorant.
Yeah.
I'm just completely unaware of games from a different country.
Like, you wanted to send a guy around to studios to sit him down and ask, okay, sweetheart, is your game, its whole design, conducive to having a final boss? Or do you need to just have a difficult last section and not pretend you have a final boss?
I would be fine if there wasn't so many games that pretended and was like, fight waves of guys and then do a terrible fucking turret sequence or something. Or something like Arkham Asylum, where it's like, we reskinned a normal enemy, you fight him 3 times and waves of guys are between the 3 times.
God, I forgot that. That was so bad.
Arkham Asylum's really good, but Titan Joker is one of the like most you actually put this in a game things I've ever seen.
Yes, absolutely.
Do either of you remember Resistance 3's final boss?
We didn't play it.
Oh,
I have not played that.
I cannot bring it to mind. I remember 1, it was a point defense thing on an elevator.
I remember the ending sequence of 2, but not the final boss.
2 was the last boss was the same thing as every boss in 2.
Yeah, that's why I figured I couldn't remember it at all.
Chat's telling me 3 didn't have a
Final boss. Wow.
Okay, cool.
I'm very excited for Resistance Month.
Yeah.
Revengeance, that's the only one I can think of where it's like the final boss elevates it.
Yeah,
I mean, the final boss is just better than the rest of the game, but the rest of the game's really great.
right. But
Yeah.
it does take it to that next level. I feel like Bayonetta's final boss is also really good. Not even necessarily the gameplay aspects of it, more just how
Yes.
insanely big the scope gets.
You mean the galactic scale?
Yes, where it literally goes full Gurren lock on.
Yes.
Zeus in God of War 3 is pretty cool too. Like he breaks your health bars, he absorbs green orbs to get his health back. There's a lot of cool stuff in that fight.
Yeah, the last hour of God of War 3 is really the reason people remember it fondly. Because it's not that the rest of the game's terrible. It stands way above any Gears game.
Be nice.
You don't understand. I went through Gears month, and now that is the frame of reference for Gears 2 is the peak. Now I look at every other franchise and go, God, imagine if only one of you was good.
That's a lot of franchises, admittedly.
Depending on which way you split, that might be Jack and Dexter as a franchise. Either the first or the third, depending on which way you split. Or you're a crazy person and you think 2's good, and 3's where they stop being ambitious because you're brain damaged. But yeah, I don't know. 4 answer was a neat time. I appreciate seeing a done-ass video game.
Yeah. I really like the soundtracks of most of them. I don't like 4 answers as much, but 4's soundtrack is literally just Japanese indie rock.
Yeah, no, it's really cool.
It's great.
They let the guy go. They're like, you do you. And he's like, okay, I'm just going to play music with my band. That's how it sounds. I don't know if that's true. Because Kota Hoshino, the guy from Evergrace, the legendary composer of Evergrace, is more justified than anyone who tried to inflate Tommy Tallarico's ego ever. Every time someone was like, he's the composer of Earthworm Jim, and I'm like, I suppose someone had that job. I suppose a man was standing that station, yes. That makes sense.
Earthworm Jim had music?
The cartoon had an opening.
Yeah, the cartoon is better than every single Earthworm Jim game combined.
You know?
It has that segment where Jim gets the ability to time travel and is like, watch, I'm going to shave Abraham Lincoln in the past. Watch this penny change. And he goes back in time and shaves Abraham Lincoln, but that causes Abraham Lincoln to not get elected, so he gets back and everyone is a Confederate colonel.
Oh, God.
That's really good. But yeah, no, 4 answers done, and I appreciate that. I'm not really in love with the ride a rocket into battle gimmick. It seems like an idea, but they pull it out so many times. It feels like, you know, the other Armored Cores when they pull out the same map and they do it again. They're like, do it again, and I'm like, all right, did it 3 times, but
yeah, but at least you're doing it on different maps.
yes,
so that gives it
most of them
step
are
up over
vast, open, empty areas like the ocean or a desert. So, but it is literally different maps. But yeah, I don't know. Armored Core 5 is scary though.
Yeah,
Because people who like 4 do not like 5. And I don't know.
I think it goes beyond that to no one likes 5.
Oh.
See, I don't know. I don't. We don't have enough evidence of people who don't love 4, right? People who are like, I like Armored Cores before 4, but not 4, right?
Okay.
So, because they were much heavier and slower and mechanical then. And that's what we're going back to with 5, which is tomorrow, by the way. We're streaming Armored Core 5 to completion on Friday.
Rip to us.
Yes. But your mech doesn't fly and move super fast. You are walking down the city street. You have to wall kick up a building, apparently. The movement is much heavier. So I don't know how that's going to go. I have no idea. Not a fucking clue. I'm excited, though, because this is it. We're on the last 2 games of Armored Core month.
Finally.
It was the month that was supposed to be a month and a half that became a month. The month that was never supposed to happen that was going to be a month and a half that became a month.
These light novel titles are getting out of control.
They really are. I'm excited to have total knowledge of Armored Core. Because right now, smugly, I go, yeah, Nexus is the best. Maybe if I played the 360 version of 4 Answer, I'd be like, this is fucking stellar.
The best part of your Armored Core month has just been learning. No, Miyazaki just was like, I'm just going to steal the plot of every Armored Core game for this fantasy game.
Right? It's so good. It's so good that everyone's like, this is such a Miyazaki thing. And I'm like, FromSoft has been doing this since time immemorial.
So when do we get the FromSoft game that is about breaking the cycle of FromSoft making games about breaking the cycle?
I don't know. Are we going to go back to Kingsfield? If we make a new Kingsfield.
What if Kingsfield is about that? Nobody actually knows because no one has ever beaten a Kingsfield game.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they have story at all. Because I know when we booted it, it's just like, you're in the world.
Yeah.
Go.
Yeah.
I know they have like lore and a setting.
Okay.
I don't know if the game itself has a story. I don't know.
But yeah,
yeah, are there characters? I'm not sure.
I was talking to Andrew from Retro Island Gaming, and he's like, yeah, I've been watching a lot of Armored Core months. My chat really hyped me up for that. And I'm like, no, Armored Core is good. And he's like, I've been watching. I'm like, look, M&Ms are good. Don't eat a bucket of them. like choose
you're not supposed to raw dog the 5-pound bag you got at Costco.
Yeah, exactly. That's the way.
every Friday we take them like party-sized bag of M&Ms. Eat it.
You put that in the freezer. Every time you walk by, you take 3 or 4 until your doctor tells you have to stop.
Right? It's the pita M&Ms, and I'm like 3 hours into the stream, and you're like, Dad, you don't look all right. And I'm like, I'm allergic to peanuts. I'm going to die. But yeah, he's trying to push me towards Kingsfield, and I'm like, fucking.
I've always been somewhat curious, but it is scary.
There's something really appealing about doing literally every FromSoft game but Dark Souls.
Then we have like the biggest stream goal ever to play Dark Souls.
God. But yeah, that's all I have to say about Armored Core 4 answer, Bob.
I think that we covered it, yeah.
I'm going to take a break from stream content and talk about not stream content. Bob and I played the Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 beta. We talked about it a bit last week, so this will be short. They have one map in that is so fucking bad. I'm like, maybe I shouldn't buy the game. Do you know how bad a map has to be where I feel like you just unsold me on the game? This one map. They just keep throwing me into that map. We hit it 6 times in a row. I'm like, this is incorrect.
It sounds like that was added for the second week, so I bet they were like, let's crank up how much it's going to turn it out.
They're like, people are really going to want to get this one.
Yeah, it's
I'm like, no, please.
I believe it's in some sort of college campus art,
some academic
thing.
setting. It's awful.
I got used to it, but it was not good, even when I got more used to it at all.
We literally can't articulate why it's awful.
Were the vibes just bad?
The vibes were horrendous.
It is something so complicated about having 2 floors and an open window on an entire side of a hallway, and the sight lines between those 2 areas, these 2 balconies, this giant open area, this area underneath the Passover hallway it's just so hard to break down.
It's one of those situations where it feels like there's literally no place in it where you're not seen from 12 angles. So it just gets really frustrating. And it seems like the map isn't even designed with the thought of using half of it. Like, they modeled this huge area you can walk into, and there's no reason to. There's no flows of combat.
Let me explain, because it goes beyond that. Dan with tiny hand again. Let me explain. They have, as I was explaining a second ago, 2nd floor hallway with giant windows all on one wall. And out that, you can see far into a courtyard. The courtyard has 3 giant bushes that are completely spherical up on a cement stand. Huge, enormous. And then a little bench you can jump on to try to... But you can't climb on that bush thing. And no one would ever... There's no advantage to this bench. And they have them at all 3. And all of this area is useless because people would see you from countless other places. They modeled so much of that. And that's only one of the 3 areas in that map that are just enormous and go and have nothing going on. One of them's the spawn point. One of them's we pull up into the Jeep, we jump out, and then we run to the map. And I'm like, okay, but that entire area is just weirdly huge and doing nothing. Now, why is this like this? I fucking hate that map. I literally went from, me and Bob should get this on lunch day and we can play the last Call of Duty. That'll be great. And now I'm just like, we buy 1 copy if it's guaranteed to love it.
Oh, God.
We play it on stream and we see. That's how it feels.
Nice.
Fucking nightmare map. Fuck that thing. Anyway. Aside from that, Bob, did you bring up any of the gun customization shit they fucked up last week?
No, because I didn't get to mess with it enough.
Okay.
The gun customization menu feels really strange and hard to maneuver compared to Cold War. And apparently it has a weird system where you need to use guns you don't want to use to unlock
attachments for every gun.
Yeah, attachments are all guns.
See, normally in a Call of Duty, you use the gun you want, and then it will unlock the various attachments like handhold, extra magazine, scope. Now it's go use that gun, that specific type of scoped rifle, in order to get this type of attachment on every other gun. And I'm like, what?
Yeah,
What?
It makes no sense.
So, yeah, they took a game that should have been an easy win and fucked it with a couple really weird decisions on unlocks and this nightmare map.
I mean, I assume that's just got to be an incentivization thing to get you to use a bunch of different weapons.
But see, there already are those because you get
account-wide experience no matter what for using a different gun, and so you get more unlocks.
So it's kind of
earlier in the gun, so it kind of encourages you to do it from that.
Yeah, you can kind of think of it as an almost idle game-like experience where, like, you know how they'll incentivize you to change over to a different thing because the experience ramp will go up faster at the beginning of that than you continue to grind on this one thing. Call of Duty does that for guns. So you would naturally want to switch to just get some quick experience on these other guns. But it just feels weird to be like, this is my favorite gun. Go use this gun. It is not similar.
I still want to try the full game because another weird thing is a lot of guns just don't have customization on them. And I'm like, that's got to just be for the beta though, right?
Yeah, you would think. We don't actually know. So, excited to find out.
And I want to believe that there's only this one horrible map. And I can play the game.
Not everyone is a dud, I'm sure. Right.
The other maps in this beta I find rather good.
Yeah, no, I actually really like some of them.
But they're not quite as good as the Cold War maps. And this one map is so fucking awful. It's salting the earth. So hopefully the final game has like 8 goddamn maps at least to water down the presence of this one nuclear terrible map.
Which Cold War was pretty bad about that. It did not have that many maps.
It did not have that many maps, but I don't hate any of them. Right. I actually enjoyed every fucking map in that game, which is why every time someone complained like they don't have that many, I'm like, but they're all good for once. I'm okay with this. I would much rather like go to the same level more often if it was good. No, I did not try the large scale battle mode.
Yeah, I meant to do that before it shut down. I forgot.
Yeah. We forgot because we were playing other things, like Gundam Evolution. Gundam Evolution, for people who don't know, is the Gundam branded Overwatch clone that has hit PC. I say Overwatch clone because it gets you, the listener, the closest to what this game is as possible.
Yeah.
I've never seen
It looks even more like Overwatch than any other hero shooter seems like Overwatch.
Yeah, the game modes are identical.
They are, yeah.
Just tried to, for a moment I tried to imagine Overwatch characters as Gundams, and then I just pictured Zenyatta just scaled up.
Yeah. You were there. He fits right in G Gundam. I don't.
Now I'm just upset that there is. What's the Sweden Gundam from G Gundam? That's a Sailor Moon character.
Nobel Gundam.
Yeah, I'm just upset Nobel Gundam isn't in there. They're stupid. Like, don't you understand?
Is there any G Gundam rep in there yet?
No G Gundam, no Wing.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's no
G
Wing.
Wing is insane. Wing is insane because Wing has some of the best fucking mech designs
and,
in that franchise.
Anything that doesn't get us closer to them actually releasing a decent model for Tequila Gundam is morally reprehensible.
I can understand there being no G Gundam rep because it's a fucking shooter, and those are that's a martial arts series.
They put in ones that are melee only already.
Yeah, they already put in Barbados.
That's true. They definitely need to put in at the very least, but a fairly shining Gundam. I need to hit my ult and just charge forward with shining finger and explode someone.
But yeah, no, Chris is right. Doing a hero shooter Gundam game and not having at least one Tall Geese in there is fucked.
Where's fucking heavy? Oh god, Tall Geese looks so fucking cool.
But yeah, I actually don't care about the specific picks they had for Gundams. Like, that's whatever. They can fix that long term. I don't think the game's good enough. I don't think the polish is there. There's a level of animation polish where it's like in Overwatch and other things like it, there are visual tells that are very good for when an enemy is popping an ability or doing any number of things. This game basically feels like, or literally is, because of the netcode, you go to throw a grenade and it does that animation, and then the grenade doesn't exist for dozens of feet and is just at the opponent now. Like, things do not follow in a way. Explosions will just appear in places, like flame grenades will go off, and you'll just be like, I didn't see anything falling in and even. Maybe that's because they throw it at hundreds of miles per hour or something, but...
It was Minovsky particles.
Oh, okay. Wow, there you go. Minovsky particles netcode.
Yeah.
That's what...
That's what they do.
Wow, now it's diegetic, so it's good.
Are these better, or is Minovsky particle netcode better or worse than the apartheid netcode that Virtual Fighter 5 had?
Well, I don't think Minovsky particles are racist.
No.
Nope.
Tomino hasn't confirmed or denied that yet. Maybe that's in that new movie that's just a remake of episode 4 of the original series or whatever.
Turns out Minovsky particles... It turns out Minovsky particles are into younger women, and I'm like, I don't need to know this, Tomino. I don't need to know.
I do.
But yeah, there's just like the abilities also don't feel as good as an Overwatch type thing or even Valorant to pop. Like, they don't seem cool or like a moment like, yeah.
That's because there's no Wing or G Gundam in there.
Yes. Literally, if they had chosen Gundams from either of those series, you would have a burning finger. You would have a cool moment. But instead, it's like, pop your Vulcan cannon and shoot it for a bit.
Like, they somehow made the Gundam hammer lame.
I was about to say, is the Gundam hammer in there? That's pretty cool.
Yeah, you throw it out, it doesn't kill someone.
Oh, that's bullshit.
Yeah. Like, what
that
was
needs
the
to
point?
be like an overhand swing that kills anybody you directly hit with it and causes splash damage.
Right,
Yeah,
or maybe something that swings in the area and causes damage frequently throughout. Anything to make it interesting, and it's just like, not.
Yeah, I'm pretty disappointed.
Yeah, you also just don't have melee attacks, which is really strange.
You don't have melees, and you can't crouch.
Yeah.
These are like things you can't do.
Can you play as a gun tank?
Yes.
Yes.
It's kind of neat, yeah.
It's kind of like crouching.
It's kind of like crouching. They made an entire mech. I think it was a Mark II sniper or M2 sniper, where you throw down a thing that's a jump pad, and you have a hover ability because it's fucking Gundam. The GM2 sniper. Thank you, New Lavender. You obviously should be able to scope down while you're popped into midair thanks to the jump pad and try to snipe people. What that would be too powerful. So if you're not on the ground, you can't look down the scope of your gun at all. They gave you a jump pad.
We wouldn't want a GM to be too powerful.
But here's the thing. The ultimate in this game, the Q, lets you snipe while hovering. So they built this mech around this obvious gameplay thing. And then they went, no, you got to use the ultimate, and then you can do it for like a few seconds.
It's like the ultimates don't come in super frequently. They're about as often as Overwatch.
I would say they're a little less often, but of course that depends on your gameplay, right? But it's really unfortunate. It's really unfortunate that that's the way they're balancing it. There are a number of different things about how things move and other stuff. And while I don't hate any of these maps as much as I hate that one from Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2's beta, I don't love a single map. I don't think any of them are great.
No, a lot of them just, I get a little lost because it all looks super similar to each other. Like, there aren't distinct landmarks. It's just sort of like, there's a bunch of hallways in this ship.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I heard they were making a hero shooter for Gundam, and my initial reaction was incorrect, because I don't want Overwatch with Gundams. I want Arma 3 with Gundams.
That actually would be really cool, yeah.
Absolutely. I think Battle
That's
Operations is more close to that.
Aggro, I think you need to get a Gundam Battle Operations Code Fairy, because one of the things I did enjoy about that was that the mechs feel like big stupid assholes.
Yes.
And plus, you can get people saying our epic war crime will be called Operation Fairy Halloween, I think is what they say it is.
It's pretty fucking epic.
I need to go back and beat that. It was way too unhinged.
But yeah, I'm really disappointed because I see a lot of potential in this IP and this genre, and I've enjoyed multiple entries in both. But
also, the progression is just awful.
Oh yeah, this is the worst battle pass in a game I've ever played. I played for hours, and they're like, "Congratulations, you have 6 1/16 of what you need to get anything. Like unlock a character. All sorts of other things.
Well, so that's because it's realistic robot and not super robo.
Oh, is that the genre?
It's gritty
distinction?
realism.
This is
Is you not earning as many points.
This battle pass is based on real life. This is like working a real job. But yeah, it's a really bad battle pass, and there are 3 different currencies. And okay, let's think about that. Obviously, one of them is going to be money, and one of them is going to be earned. What the fuck is the third one? They don't tell you. I had to Google it. What is green currency in Gundam Evolution? I'm going to get from Chris and Agro your guesses as to what this third distinct currency could be to see if anyone can guess it. Also, don't look at chat.
The pay for currency expires over time, and you get some rollover at like half or quarter value, and that's
What is
the
this,
third
Verizon
currency.
wireless like 10 years ago?
I'm gonna
Rollover
guess.
minutes, yeah.
I'm gonna guess it's some special currency you get from getting duplicates of whatever type of random thing there is.
Yes. And since the doling out of shit is so slow in this game, the notion that they went, we need a third currency for duplicates is insane. Because there's some shit that you literally can only buy with that.
Someone I know who's playing this was like, they don't like Overwatch does this thing where you're less likely to get duplicates. Like it adjusts the ratios, and this doesn't do that. So I imagine that is why it has a duplication currency. Because it's like you can get the exact same thing over and over and over again without it decreasing in likelihood the way it decreases in likelihood in other games.
So yeah, I did not enjoy my time with this. I really thought I would. I thought I would at least enjoy it as much as Valorant. I would easily go back to Valorant to play that before I play this ever again. Oh yeah. That's a real shame. To people who are enjoying it, that's great. Good for you. There are a lot of Gundam games. There's plenty of other Gundam games I can go play to just have a fun time with.
I'll be
Gundam
happy to give
games.
this a try in 18 months when they've worked out some of the problems and maybe let me play as Heavy Arms.
One nice thing I like about it is seeing these Gundams in like high quality renders.
Yeah,
Like that
no, that's great.
That's surprising, like how nice it looks.
You know, I did just think of one thing that could make me come back.
What's that?
It's never going to happen though.
Okay.
Like literally never. What if they added ray tracing? Because the Gundam models are really good. I would love to see those like cool ray trace lighting. I'd be like, wow, this game sucks, but look at these models.
For a second, I was like, we'll have to add Tracer.
What if they had traces? She's just
like,
wearing cardboard boxes. It is now like 4 stories tall.
Yes.
It's like, what's Dan going to say? Bakunet Zamaru? No, that's the dumb joke I would make.
But yeah, I you know, if they add Heavy Arms, I will look up a video of how Heavy Arms because I am super interested. Like, how would they do that?
I am now just upset at Bakumetsu Maru existing because that era of SD Gundam killed the good era of SD Gundam. It's sad.
I need everyone who knows SD Gundam and maybe likes it to go watch the original OVAs in order and watch the transition from this is an OVA written cleverly about jokes from these series. Like, it's making fun of Zeta, it's making fun of Original, it's making fun of Amuro and Char and Camille, and doing all these jokes on that, and Judao eventually. And then watch as it becomes, we're just telling classical stories now, but the mythological creatures and peoples are Gundams. It's like, but that's not.
Yeah, that sounds like about how that would go.
Also,
once you watch SD Gundam, go look up the pitch video for Doozy Bots.
God.
yeah.
When they were considering bringing that over, and they're like, everybody turns into their little Doozy Bot to fight evil, and the kid in the wheelchair becomes Gun Tank.
Yep. I do think that SD Gundam OVA has the best portrayal. I think it's 2 of them have the best portrayal of LP Peru ever.
Yes.
She's just a fucking goblin. But that is it for the Gundam Evolution minute. It will never return as a segment. Let's see. We played Pokemon Moon. the 7th gen Pokemon game starting up on Poke Mondays. That game is unbelievably better looking than fucking 6th gen.
It's unreal.
It doesn't even look like it should be on the 3DS. It looks very nice.
It looks unreal how good it is. However, it is a bit 7th gen-y. The intro's way too long. It is very hand-holdy.
Pile cutscenes onto you.
It is nonstop piling cutscenes. It's like cutscene, walk 10 feet, cutscene.
It's huge.
But love the vibes. Love that I ruined our character by turning them into a horrible tourist goblin with the worst haircut you can imagine.
You found the worst haircut in the game. It was impressive because you didn't get to preview it. You just chose something from text menus.
Yeah, what was it called? The Love Curl or Love Tuck? Romantic Tuck. And I was like, this is fucking, yes, do it. Here's $5,000. What were we making as the joke? It is just like, hey, I would like to buy a video game. What color video game would you like? Brown. Okay, that'll be $5,000. Here you go. But yeah, no, it's good for people who miss the lore. I did not beat this game before. This is the only gen I didn't beat. I'm super excited because this next Monday we're going to be at the point I dropped off at, and our dex is looking real good. However, Spiff let me know they don't give you a single other reward in the game for having a complete dex or a fuller dex. It is all based on, did you catch this one specific Pokemon before you talk to me? And I'm like, God damn it. Because they do that right out of the game.
Right.
They immediately go, do you have 10 different Pokemon? Well, then have these 10 Ultra Balls. And I'm like, oh shit, that's a great reward. We should catch everything because you get experience when you catch them nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
I think another really cool system they have is like a master trainer in each zone. So where if you beat all the other trainers in that zone, he's like, okay, now I'll challenge you. And it's like, oh, wow, this is great. And that dude actually uses potions and stuff as if he were a gym leader.
Yes. And that is really neat. Yeah. 100%. Super hyped for that. Really enjoyed that. Really bummed out that we got that bug Pokemon. And then it became a thing of like, well, this isn't a good, just put it away.
In the box.
Put it in the box because it would hit its in between evolution. Like think of any bug Pokemon.
Okay.
It would hit the second evolution normally, but the third you would basically have to wait until the end of the game to level it up on a specific mountain. So imagine being the second stage of a bug Pokemon for most of the game. Real rough. So, you know. That was unfortunate. He got boxed. Aside from that, though, that's all I wanted to say. Other than I'm super excited. I'm really loving it. It's taking every fiber in my being to not be like, we're just going to stream this one for 20 hours. Bob, did you have anything else you wanted to say before we moved on?
No.
Thank fucking Christ. We can talk about the only game that matters this week. Jetpack Joyride 2.
I see.
For people who do not know the legacy of Jetpack Joyride, it is one of the first iconic iPhone video games. It is also Android, of course. It is what was the genre called? An endless runner?
Yes.
An infinite runner game. You know, like Temple Run, but 2D. So you go left to right. That was a game where you just pick it up for a bit, you buy some abilities, and then it randomly does shit, and your success is based somewhat on skill, but also random. And it's like, oh, I only made it this far on this run, and it died, and then I can upgrade. And You need to understand one thing. This isn't a bit. I played the shit out of Jetpack Joyride 1 on both my iPhone 5, my first smartphone, a billion years ago, and the Vita, because they ported that shit to the Vita afterward.
What?
And I threw it for another coin doubler. I threw the money down for that. I genuinely really enjoyed Jetpack Joyride. Jetpack Joyride 2, I beat it. It takes 6.5 hours. It's a game you can beat. There's a story mode. What? There are characters. They write dialogue. It's fucking weird.
Wild.
I don't know if this was introduced in a different game, but you can be what is they have girl and they have man and girl mode. So you could be Barry or the gender swap version of Barry, which is really funny because they're both just wearing what should be a nice suit, but the sleeves are ripped off.
Is that what the characters are named? Barry and the gender swap
Barry.
version of Barry?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, Barry straight steak fries. That is the name of the main character. Yeah, no, it's fucking great.
I didn't know what.
I can't remember her name though. Unfortunately, right now, I did not swap to her. There were 3 other skins. I didn't swap to them either. This game has too many systems. As I explained, you run from left to right. You touch the screen to go up and down to dodge things and shoot them with your chain gun backpack, which is your jetpack. It's just a chain gun. They took the 10 or 11 years of innovation in brain spiders and just built it into this game. And imagine this fucked up Cthulhu monster with all these tendrils going into everything, but they don't go anywhere and they didn't connect to anything, let alone your brain. So I lost 30 minutes of my life investing in a whole economic system that went nowhere. I'm like,
that's capitalist.
Yes.
They have a part of this game called The Factory. The only way The Factory could ever make sense is if you're so crazy, you put the game down for an hour and 30 minutes regularly, pick it up for 4 minutes, and put it right back down for exactly an hour and 30 minutes again.
That's absolutely how people want you to play games on your phone.
I do not. 4 minutes is really short, even for ADD-addled phone gamery, for me. This whole system was just a sinkhole, monetarily. I bought a gold mine. And it went nowhere. It was exhausted. It was terrible. So the factory part of this is just a whole fucking idle game that does not pay off well enough to make any sense for anyone except for someone religiously an hour and a half playing only 4 minutes. Because you play longer than that and it starts to not make sense again.
Do you not earn anything after that hour and a half of not playing? Can you say?
Well, no. It just all 5 facets of your factory will just hit their peak capacity after an hour and a half of you not playing.
Okay, I was like,
and then
I get this if it became you like in once a day or twice a day,
right?
Thing. But if it's only every hour and a half, that really isn't the benefit you want.
Well, you invest real currency back into the things that generate those. Sorry, I said real currency. You invest resources into those things to raise the cap of how much they'll generate in the hour and a half.
Oh my god.
So if you were really specifically an hour and a half on that,
that's awful.
So anyway, the actual money you want to spend on is on your jetpack itself. And your jetpack has multiple stages. And once you hit experience milestones, you can upgrade them to the next stage of jetpack. And that is the base multiplier. This game gets drastically easier every time you upgrade this. And on top of that, you can spend your gold to increase your health or your damage. And then there's vehicle investment, because you can get a vehicle pickup and you can put the blueprints in to improve your vehicle, but that also takes gold. But then there are also power-ups and the badges. And the badges, you can invest currency and these 2 other resources to upgrade those to do more crit damage and have more health and to... None of this shit went anywhere except for investing in the jetpack. And before anyone goes, well, Dan, that's the trap. They're trying to get your money. This game is on Apple Arcade. You can't spend money on it. I just sat here confused as they engineered 11 years of brain spider manipulation technology into several dead ends that do nothing.
So rather than brain spiders, it was just a box of spiders.
Yes. And I just went, it would have been better if I never opened the box. There are now spiders everywhere. I will waste 30 minutes of my life crushing them with my feet. That's how it felt. That's how it felt. Absolutely nuts. 6.5 hours. It should have been 5.5. It should have been 5:40 at most. But 30 minutes were lost on me investing in the factory and then going, this will only work if I just ignore it for an hour and a half and then pick it up again.
What when you were showing it to me, it looked like there was stuff that was still coming out. Is this game going to continually have more levels?
They are like, this isn't the end of your adventure. Check out this weird silhouette of an enemy. And I'm like, guys, I didn't need Jetpack Joyride to have an ending, but I also didn't need it to be 6.5 hours long. I'm never coming back. Just to be clear, at no point do I feel like I'm excited for your content drop.
Yep.
That's it. Jetpack Joyride 2. Neat if you have Apple Arcade. Maybe don't invest in the factory unless you're going to be the type to boot a game and then cash things out and then not play it. It could work for that. That's it. That's the Jetpack Joyride minute.
When are we getting Robot Unicorn Attack 2?
I don't know. I bet if you pitched it to someone at Apple Arcade, be like, hey, find the right people. They would do it. They would do it. Speaking of which, did you guys know that the person who headed up Apple Arcade in the early days actually went over to Sony?
No.
They're the head of that PlayStation iPhone initiative or PlayStation mobile division thing.
Huh.
So maybe that'll go somewhere. I don't know. Because that, that would be the person who got us like the Sakaguchi RPG.
Okay, the Sakaguchi stuff.
Fantasian and other things like that.
Yeah, I assume that devil... That thing from Platinum Games.
Oh, yeah, that thing. No one knows the name.
No,
not even you. So it's gone.
Even escaped me.
Yeah, that
gone
thing
forever.
You played.
Yeah, the thing you played, that was good, and then it just ended.
Yep.
Thanks, Platinum.
Well, I mean, it stopped.
But yeah. Now to talk about the only game that mattered this week. I didn't want to drop money for it on a real console. So I played Shovel Knight Dig on my phone.
Oh, wow. You actually tried it.
I will now go drop real money for that on a real console. It seems really great. I just don't want to play it on a touchscreen.
That makes sense.
Check this out. This is going to blow your mind. You ready for this description? In Shovel Knight Dig, you dig. You dig it?
I heard Shield Knights in this game.
Cool. I only played enough to realize I didn't want to play on a phone.
Okay.
You could play it on a phone. If you're used to playing games on a phone, I bet this is perfectly fine. But no, not interested. It's really cool. You just start the dig down. It's kind of like down well in that sense. You just start the run and you keep going down. You get some treasure. You've got enemies. You're dealing with all that. You get equipment. There's a town.
Okay. So you dig. But do you dug?
No.
Oh, that's a shame. I like Dan. I like how you said, if you've never been unchained and see the world beyond the shadows on the wall, it's fine to just stick with the shadows on the wall.
To be fair, big thing to mention isn't hitting the ears of a lot of people who've played Fortnite on a phone and said this is fine, but they exist. I can't bridge the gap between me and them, but they exist. And I assume it has controller support. Most things on Apple Arcade do, but I didn't even check because I don't have a cradle for my phone to sit in while I use a controller, and my phone's pretty fucking heavy because it's 13 Pro Max. This is how dumb Apple news and Apple leaks are. The phones just came out and they're like, next year, guys, they're going to change the name of the Pro Max to Ultra. And I'm like, I don't care. Why would I care? I'll barely care then. What is with you? So this is why I don't really follow Apple news. These people are deranged. And it's been 3 years in a row of this one's going to have the USB port. But don't worry, they informed me next year it's going to have the USB port.
That sounds pretty ultra.
Yeah, it sounds pretty ultra. But that's it. That's very last thing.
The only game that matters.
No, actually, no, sorry. I don't have a third. Neither Jetpack nor Joyride nor Shovel Knight Dig can really lock in that completely fluid frame rate, even on a 13 Pro Max. I think phones are just doomed forever to not.
That's so insane because it's like that phone is insane.
Yeah, no, gaming performance-wise, I'm pretty sure it's still punching above every Android phone on the market. I'm pretty sure that's where
Dig is on Switch.
Yes. And I'm sure it probably but it hitches on phones because, they don't. There's just the technology, the beauty of the Switch is that you get low-level access to the hardware and you can plan for the exact performance it has.
Situations.
Mm-hmm. Right. Meanwhile, Jetpack Joyride 2, I'm kind of just like they probably They probably just fucked it up. Jetpack Joyride 1 ran like shit, so even on the fucking Vita. So I don't know. Shovel Knight's weird though because it will scroll at 120 because my refresh is 120.
Right.
And then they'll hard key positional spaces for animations in the intro cutscene and other things at like 30. But then the characters will animate at 60. It just looks fucking weird. Mm-hmm. Anyway, that's it. Also, I didn't know Streets of Rage 4 was on phones. I need to try that. Works fine on my machines in chat, so I need to. But yeah, anyways.
I thought there was at least one more most important game this week.
Is there one more most important game this week, Bob?
Dig deep.
Dan, we played Overwatch.
Oh yeah, you gotta get that. You gotta get it in before it's deleted forever.
Yes.
We joined Shibuya.
We played Overwatch with Shibuya Gato and Shore Art. I actually played Overwatch the day before too by myself. It was really nice getting to play DPS using my priority pass.
We killed him. We finally did it.
It just took one more. He joked about it. Don't you have one more? And then we're like, no. Yes. Overwatch 2. I wish there was one decision that they had announced for that game where I go, oh, that's a clever idea. What an improvement that'll be. Because all these other things that are announced is just, what a fucking nightmare. My game I play is going to disappear into this void forever. To do broad strokes for anyone who missed it, they arbitrarily changed the lighting levels to be nighttime, so now they just look wrong. And I don't mean I'm used to this, so they look different. No, the art design of this fucking level is designed around it being bright.
Somehow it's day for night in a video game.
In a video game.
No.
That is such a good way to put it. They're changing it so it's 5v5 instead of 6v6. Because this will fix the DPS problem. The DPS problem being everyone wants to play DPS because half of the fucking character roster is designated DPS. Hey guys, do you think it's a problem in your game that only 1/3 of the players can play as half of the roster? So they're going to fix that by removing one of the tanks.
Mm-hmm. They have no idea what they're doing.
So,
you know, Blizzard did this deleting shit to World of Warcraft 2. I talked about that before. Whereas, like, it takes too long to onboard people because the way it worked was every new expansion added new areas and new levels. So it was like the first expansion took the level cap to 70. Then it went to 80, then it went to 90, and then it started going in increments of 5 because they're like, it got too fucking high. We have to go over 100. That's stupid. They did a stat squish, you know, where they squish down everything, which is whatever. That's fine. It's not, but I can live with that.
Right.
They also decided that, well, we're only going to make you go through one set of content to get to the newest thing. So you start the game, you go through their new tutorial area that gets you like to level 10, and it's like, pick which expansion you want to play. And I'm like, well, that's not the same game anymore.
I mean, it's not been the same game anymore like 800 times by now.
Right?
No, but it was...
you still got to see all of the game.
And also, they started doing this fucking thing where they were like, well, we can't keep giving you the classes new abilities, so we're gonna tie the abilities to some item you get at the start of an expansion, and then when that expansion's over, we just have some plot development depower that item. So now, if you go to those expansions, you don't get those. You don't get the old stuff, so you can't even see what it was like.
Right.
Like in Legion, World of Warcraft Legion, everybody got that. That's the one where they were like, okay, everybody gets this legendary weapon that you power up the whole expansion, and it amplifies your abilities and changes what things do. And then at the end of the expansion, it was like this plot thing depowered all of them. So now even if you play that expansion, like using the new way that you go through the contents, like that shit isn't on anymore. It sucks. It's one of the reasons that one of the few ways they could actually get me to go back is if they just went, we're just going to do like a legacy server for every expansion. Because then at least I could go back and see what it was like.
I mean, they're getting around to it, aren't they?
They're up to Wrath.
Mm-hmm.
They said we'll go further if people want. And I'm like, you don't even have to adjust the things past Wrath anymore. Like, that's when you did all the big changes. Just fucking put it in. Just have like 2 for each expansion. Yeah, there's only going to be like 300 people who want to play Legion exclusively. Just let them do it.
We don't go to the Panda Classic server.
Pandaria was a great era of that game. Probably the best era of that game, actually.
But yeah, I wish as I watched this game that I enjoyed disappear into the void that is Overwatch 2, that there was one thing in Overwatch 2 I could point at and be like, I think this is a good idea and I'm excited for it. Instead, I have Kiriko.
I want to believe it'll just happen like that Destiny 2, where it comes out and then they have a massive amount of people playing the new meta. Yeah. They're like, oh, this isn't better at all. Let's roll it all back.
Yeah, because for people who don't know, they changed the PvP. They changed the Crucible in Destiny 2 massively, which is why I was upset at that game, because I spent a lot of time in Crucible and they just completely fucked it. And then the next E3 after Destiny 2 came out, they're like, check this out. We added a crazy MOBA-like mode. And we're like, we don't care. Fix the fucking game. And then they did. But it was too late. Anyway. Bob, did you have any comments about Overwatch other than, yeah, sure is Overwatch?
Sure is still Overwatch and still a lot better than that Gundam game.
Yeah. I was just thinking about Jeff from Overwatch, and it's like, he either got out because working on Overwatch 2 with Bobby Kotick above them ruining everything, as described as by one of the producers on Overwatch 2, was a nightmare, or because Jeff needed to get out because of what was happening at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Take of that what you will. And I just have to live with that mystery for the rest of my life. Was Jeff one of them? Or did he just get out because he was going insane? And I'll never know. And I guess that's fine. That's better than knowing one of those is the case. Hey, Bob.
What's up?
Did you play anything other than the litany of games we just went through?
I did. I played too much of Solstice.
Oh, I also played Solstice.
Wow.
I heard that went super well the whole time.
Yeah, consistent.
How far did you get, Bob?
I just got to Act 3. Which, to know that, you have to go to the chapter select. So
yeah, which chapter? The last thing I did is the thing I did before. I'm like, I don't feel like playing this anymore, and I'm not sure if I'm gonna come back. Was I beat the abomination boss, the big fucking red thing that has mines all around it constantly, and made me very mad?
Yeah, that was. I considered dropping the game there too, because that is the worst thing in the game. I played several hours past that now, and nothing has been that bad.
Okay, that's good.
I have a lot of feelings. The field thing was already kind of worrying. We talked about that when we played the demo. Of like, you have the blue field or your red field, and then you use them to attack different enemy types. And I was somewhat okay with it when it was only attacking enemy types you needed to have that activated. Mm-hmm. But when they add the mechanic of, if you have it activated, it will activate mines near you. Like, there are literally mines in the environment you have to stay away from, or they'll just explode if you have the red field activated.
That respawn endlessly because they're insane.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
No.
Yeah, they just keep coming back. It's like...
I can't overstate the fucking despair in my soul I felt when I knocked down that abomination boss and 4 enemies popped out tethered to it.
Yes. Then you need to kill them while the blue field is up. And it's like... And they're invisible if they're not within the blue field sometimes. So it's just like, what?
Yeah, here's the thing. This is a quick thing. There's secret missions in this game, like in Devil May Cry or Bayonetta.
Mm-hmm.
They take place on like a blue crystal platform. You can't fucking see the blue enemies if they're not in your field at all on that platform. I don't know why they made it that color.
Yeah,
it's a serious fucking problem. They should have made that platform purple or green or any color other than the same shade of blue.
I have some other things to say about those challenges. Sometimes they get unhinged. They make challenges that make zero sense for the game they made. Like, you need to kill enemies within the circle. You have no moves that move enemies. You can knock them upward. You can't direct them.
Yeah, that was another thing. Like it this isn't like a general game feel thing. It's weird how I don't feel like I ever had a problem in any other action game I've ever played where it's like, why are my fucking moves knocking you out of my reach?
Yeah.
It feels like that happened. It feels like the intent is, well, the last hit of every combo will knock them away. So what you have to do is either launch them or knock them back to the ground with Helm Splitter if they're already in the air. And that's the tech, but that sucks.
Yeah, because your jump doesn't cancel out easily, and a lot of the moves feel awkward, so it's not a good way to keep them near you.
It also sucks big time. It honestly felt like they were like, we don't know how to design moves, so you have to unlock the launcher and Helm Splitter for every single weapon.
Yeah.
Also your default weapon doesn't have those. Your default weapon has no moves unless you get an upgrade version of it later. I'm not aware of.
Yeah, I still haven't got that. It feels like it's way too late in the game for that to still not have happened, but it feels insane for, like, your starter weapon has 2 moves you unlock. Every other has 6.
Well, no, Bob, they only have 3 or 4, and then they just upgrade to make the damage buff they get against specific enemy types better?
Yeah, that I always hate, like, that's not something you want in an action game. You don't want to have to actually spend money on making your weapon better. The weapon should be good and you unlock new moves.
Yeah, like, it's fine in God of War where you get everything with an upgrade. Like, you get damage and new moves.
Right, yeah, if they want to do a system like that, absolutely. But this just feels really annoying. Like, now I have to waste points just so this weapon does the thing it's supposed to do.
It feels like the further I got into it, the more like the DMC it started to become. Like, down to having the same weapon switching buttons and down to, like, buy the damage upgrades like the DMC.
Yeah, it is disturbingly similar to that, and it makes the same mistakes, which I felt like everyone should have learned of. No, your targeting system needs to be good. You should have a button for targeting. Double tap and then attack for a stinger is awful.
People really hate the camera in this. Did you know that this game has like a 4.2 on every platform user score on Metacritic?
No.
People fucking hate this camera.
It is awful. A lot of times will just show the above view of my character. I'm trying to hit something next to me.
Oof.
I think that any action game with multiple enemies on screen just should have hold targeting. Toggle targeting like Dark Souls does not work for a game like this. Toggle targeting is just awful for it. Also, their marker for someone's going to be targeted is something like a Dark Souls where it's like a dot. It's so hard to parse from with all the things happening.
I was doing those secret missions where it's like destroy all enemies of this type and then kill the rest. And I'm like, this lock-on is useless.
Yeah, and a lot of times the lock-on will not dictate what you attack. Like, you get a bow eventually. You lock on a guy, you hit the bow button. She'll shoot whatever's near her, not the thing that's locked on. It's like, it's a long-range weapon.
It feels like they added the lock-on late in development because it feels so janky and bad.
No, like I'll forgive a terrible camera all day and into the sunset.
Absolutely.
The lock-on has to work.
Yes.
The lock-on has to be divine law, or your game is broken.
The Unity system's real bad.
Yeah.
Like, I don't
think it's neat, but
it's
what
neat
do you think it's bad?
Conceptually, it's like, I don't think you should tie mechanics that help you do better to you already doing good. Or it's like, you don't get your devil trigger unless you can get your Unity up to the point where you can use devil trigger. You also don't get the Unity attacks, which feel intentional, like you need to have them in points. Like,
Yeah,
I think that shit just should have been a meter.
Yeah, I think like they should be separated. Like, you should have one or the other on a meter.
Yeah, one or the other should be related to should be its own thing, and then Unity should not be that.
Right, yeah. If Unity was only one of the things, so you could be like, I'm styling on them, I get to use this cool move, but then I have my double trigger stuff to just save me.
Yeah.
Like, that would make sense. It all being one thing doesn't make any sense.
I also I lost it. I had something I was gonna say. I don't I'm not sure how I feel about her, like the loot defense.
I think it's really bad.
Whoa.
It is that's where I'm leaning, where it's like loot defense. It's like, man, what are you doing? Why do it's inconsistent? That's the problem. That's so many things in this game where it's like an action game needs to have rock fucking solid rules.
Yeah, you never know when loot will be like, I can stop this. It's always just maybe the pop-up will show and she'll do it.
And there's upgrades to be like, she can do it more. And I'm like, can I have an on-screen indicator? Can I have like pips that show up?
Right. And then it doesn't help that your dodge does not seem to have iframes. Like, you get hit out of it. So if you're trying to dodge something because she didn't stop it, you basically can't.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times it's like there's such a huge field of damage you can't get out.
Also, it feels like they were like, it's too hard to figure out how to make enemies less aggressive when they're not on screen, so we just won't.
Mm-hmm.
We added an indicator to tell you when they're about to try to hit you, which is useless because an off-screen attack indicator, it could be an enemy preparing to hit you in the face with a projectile, or it could be that a zombie has decided he will now run up to you into view and slowly take a swing, and you have no way of knowing which of the two it is.
Yeah, it could be an explosive zombie appearing in you.
Oh yeah, that's another thing. In like Mission 4, they introduced the enemies that run at you and explode when their health is low. And I'm like, I described this game on Twitter as like a developer made a decent action combat system and is now being chased by a ghost. And every time the ghost will catch them, it forces them to add one bad Western action game mechanic to the game.
Yeah.
I remember reading you were tweeting about this game earlier, and you had mentioned something about needing to do like 2 different arbitrary things to activate a switch. And my brain went, oh no. Red button, blue button. That sounds like Lords of Shadow.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a lot of Lords of Shadow energy.
Yes. And it was mostly like they introduced those mines. So it's now like the mines are placed all around things you want to get. You have to navigate these mines. And I'm like, I don't want to think that much to grab 5 souls, 5 of your currency.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. And also, it feels like this game is way longer than it should be.
Yeah, I looked up run times. It's saying like 15 to 16 hours. So longer than any Devil May Cry game.
I thought it was really weird as the notifications on PlayStation was like, yeah, you're 43% through the game. I'm like, what are you talking about? I've been playing this for like 8 hours.
I know. Every time I kept looking over and I'm like, that doesn't seem like it's wrapping up. That's fucking weird for an action game. Okay.
Every time I got outside and looked and saw that I was still miles away from the goal, I was like, what do you mean?
Yeah, I got that thing where by the way, this is a story thing. It's super fucking lame that every member of the Chimeras, the group that the protagonist is, they all dress like Guts and use Guts sword.
Yeah, it is lame that they all look identical like that.
I really stayed away from making knockoff Claymore jokes the first time around.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say, have either of you watched Claymore or the manga?
I have not. It's on the list, but I haven't gotten.
But she does the same face even.
Mm-hmm.
Like she goes devil and has the sharp teeth and the exact same way in the eyes.
Yep.
But
and then you meet the mentor character who's Guts with a beard.
Yeah, it's really, really direct. He even has the one strip of white hair.
Also, the opening of this game is like in media res and it's just the opening of Bayonetta.
Yeah, but done in such a bad way of like, well, now you know that they will make it to this location. It's like you spoiled your game. There's no longer any tension of will they be able to control the monster inside or anything. It's just like, yeah, they get there and they're doing this fight.
Oh.
Nice.
Also, that level with the giant head is really fucking bad. I don't know why that level's in the game.
Because they need a set piece level.
No, they don't.
Why not just make a Crash Bandicoot stage?
Oh, not make a Banjo-Kazooie. Can you collect all the musical notes? Do 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 do.
Every boss has been either bad or pathetic. Like the fighting the giant head boss after that horrible level.
Uh-huh.
is literally like, okay, dodge attacks for like a minute, then he sits down and you hit the side of his head like 3 times and the battle's over. It's like, what?
Yeah, it feels weird to have a game that's apparently 15 hours long and be like, oh, you cut this.
Yeah, it feels like they could,
because you don't beat that enemy.
Mhm.
You have to run away and then someone else beats it then. Like it's not like there's no run back later on.
No, they just get beaten immediately by someone else. When you do your double trigger transformation, they made a cutscene that's like 5 times longer than it should be. It cuts to like a Borderlands looking dimension where it zooms on just her like holding her sword and charging up. I don't know why that's the case. They even have a shorter version of it they play for after you've gone double trigger once that chapter. But it's like, why would I want to see this every chapter? It's like almost a solid minute in the middle of combat that you're taking me out.
Nice.
You can skip it, but why is it here?
It's also weird how they keep going. We don't know how to convey information to the player. Go into the plot dimension as loot and walk around as we deliver you lore.
Yep. Their one trick. They've done it 3 times already. I can only imagine they'll keep it up. Other than that, I don't know. Did you have anything more to say about it? After that boss you beat, I have enjoyed the game more. But I cannot recommend it.
Yeah, it's like, I'm glad that games like this exist again. Maybe if it looks interesting to you, I'll wait for it to be $20. Because I don't even think it's worth $40. The $40 it is by default right now.
Yeah, I also thought it'd run a bit better on PS5. Like, it still has hitches and stuff, and it's like,
sounds to me like you should get a 4090.
clearly.
It's such a practical option for everyone, right?
It's going to be like 10 years of that.
God, no. No one's going to own this thing but me. It's going to be like, it's
No,
gross.
I mean, it's from you.
No, I'm not going to.
That wasn't a question. You're going to do this for 10 years.
Why are you making me do this?
Also a big like selling point of this game that I found out Googling it was that it was like, we got a voice actor for Metal Gear Solid 5. And I'm like, but that game didn't have any characters.
And she also didn't voice that character because they were quiet. She probably said like one line.
I'm like, why is this your marketing point? This is really dumb.
Yeah, it makes more sense in Devil's Third where it's modeled after her because she's like a model. So she looks nice.
It's like if they were like the famous character from Resident Evil 2 remake. It's this model we based him on. You didn't voice Leon. We're sorry. You were expecting him to sound like Leon.
Oh yeah, it's also really weird that to get new weapons, your supervisor just shows up and hands you them at random points throughout the story.
Yeah, that's really lame.
It's like so lame.
I'm authorizing you to use my firearm.
It feels like you have Devil May Cry 1 levels of mobility in the air.
You had the air dodge, so it's a little more, but it's not much. Not much.
Like, it feels like if I'm going after one of those the fucking 100 flying blue enemies in this game, and I jump and it moves just a little bit farther, I'm like Bender on his back, like waving at the air, going because I cannot reach them.
Every in-air attack feels like a hitbox is too small for. Like, how much I have to fiddle with it to hit red orb clusters that are on walls. Completely stationary. Cannot hit them without 3 tries. Like, come on. Why? But I think I've said enough about this. Did you have anything more to say about it?
Nah, I'm done.
And that's everything I played.
I actually have one more, really. So I downloaded Streets of Rage 4 while I left the room for 10. No, I'm just kidding. I'm done. Aggro, did you play anything this week?
I mean, like, I played a little more Cyberpunk. I I started putting together a puzzle.
Nice.
That's pretty cool.
That's about it.
Oh yeah, I finished up the Pokemon Sun Moon anime.
Oh shit.
That was pretty cool. It sure does everything its power to return to the status quo at the end, though. It's really weird.
Does it finally tell us what was in the GS ball?
No, never.
Someday.
But yeah, I think that anyone expecting that new character in the new season to replace Ash when the new character uses a score bunny is like they're delusional.
Well, Ash could always go, here you go, here's Pikachu.
Yes, if Ash passes on Pikachu, that would be the only way you ever replace him.
You know, that would kill the very last bit of soul I believe Pikachu's current design has. That would do it. You lost all the weight and then you left Ash.
But yeah, I kind of think I think Sun Moon the anime is really great, but I hate that the ending is a big tournament because that's not what made the series great at all. Like what makes it
that's
great
how the first season ends, so
is all of every episode's a completely just goofy, weird event about a different character. And we have like a solid cast of 5 friends, and they go all around and do things. It's neat.
I realize
And you get to
now
learn about different areas.
I need to watch Diamond and Pearl to hear Cynthia tell me, go visit my grandmother because I won't.
I hear she shows up in the new season. I wonder if she also is like that.
Does she say that to the new people? Go visit my grandmother because I won't.
Go visit my grandmother. Okay, I guess I'm gonna go do that. Rip to you, but I'm built different.
What if they make her grandmother horrible so you just understand?
ooh.
Her grandmother's a spirit too.
But that's it, Bob?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Well, and that's it, Aggro? Okay. Hey, Chris, what you been playing?
I chugged all of Banjo-Kazooie in one stream on Saturday. I didn't intend to do that, but then I was so scared of how the back end of that game was going to go. I'm like, well, I'll just do more today. I'll do more today. I'm like, oh, this is actually doable today. Let's just go. That game's fine. Like, I didn't run into any major road bumps in it. There shouldn't be resources in that game. like the red feathers and eggs, those just shouldn't exist.
What about the golden feather? So you can become invincible to most things.
Those can exist.
Okay.
But the other two things, there's no reason for those to exist. Like, they put them everywhere, so you're never short. They're just to fill up space, so just don't have them. Like, it doesn't feel good to collect them.
It makes the ba-da-da-doop sound. So, like, more things that make the ba-da-da-doop sound when I pick them up is good. Gooder.
It is true. That is the part of my brain that gets tickled.
Yeah, and I go ba-da-doop. That's like it. That's the stance. I don't know.
That hub's real bad.
Oh, it's fucking nightmarish. I'm watching your stream and I'm like, I beat this game like 3 years ago, and even I can't tell where any of these routes in this castle go.
It's just maze-like for no reason.
I don't know.
I figured it was maze-like because it was an evil witch's castle.
I mean, yes, it is. It is definitely, that's the impression I get.
It's
worth noting because I feel like a lot of people totally forget this. I played that game as a kid. I've owned it since the year like 2003. So it wasn't just Dan picked it up for a stream and put it down. But even using the experience as a kid and beating it 3 years ago, I'm like, the doorways lead places. I don't know, jump in the pot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's real rough.
Although I should say I've never been in like the last few levels of that game. So I don't know if the castle gets significantly worse.
Oh.
I feel like the castle maybe gets better the further you get.
Oh.
It's like they get sick of trying, so it's just like
Yeah, they don't. Like, the beginning really feels like being left in an open parking lot, less so than like here's this area and this next area, and very calmly introducing you into that like a modern video game would. It literally is, here's the castle. Who fucking knows where the first level is? Go fuck yourself, kid.
I love that kind of shit. So
God, now I'm trying to remember, and I just keep seeing ukulele levels.
Understandable.
Don't.
Have you played
that game? Was better. So
I don't know.
Skating
I
right
saw-
past that.
I solved the mystery of Banjo-Kazooie's camera on the stream.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I figured out the secret. And why if you watch someone play Banjo-Kazooie, there will inevitably be a moment where the camera moves like in one frame, moves by 70 degrees and they fall off something and cry.
Yes.
And that is because the camera does not clip into geometry, it skips it.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So if you swing the camera a little too far next to a wall, it teleports like imagine it just went all the way through the wall, but it does that instantly.
Mm-hmm.
I can
So it's like
explain-
you got hit by fucking King Crimson, and you suddenly are somewhere totally different and don't know how that happened.
I can explain Banjo-Kazooie's camera, but first we're going to have to talk about parallel universe. Banjo cuts his hand, and then he sees how much blood there is on the ground, and he's like, the camera moved. That's the only way
you have
he'll
to do
know.
that. There, like, I didn't run into anything particularly egregious. Like, there's literally only one spot in the entire game it's even remotely like wrangle with the bad platforming we made.
Mhm.
And that's inside fucking Rusty Bucket Bay's engine room.
Yeah,
Which,
that was unfortunate.
Here's how you know that Rare is sadistic and that monsters work for them.
Mm-hmm.
They
Or used to.
intentionally, and this was intentional. I know it was. Those motherfuckers. When you do something and there is just long enough before the timer appears that you think there might not be a timer.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean,
They timed it perfectly every time for me to go, oh, there's no oh, fuck.
the Stamper Brothers' souls were corrupted like by the ZX Spectrum in the same way the Soul Stone corrupts the main character of Diablo 1. So it's not surprising that literally the studio then would be full of demons.
Yeah, that's what made them make Grab by the Ghoulies.
That's true. 100%. Jesus Christ.
I didn't really have a problem with Click Clock Wood. I thought that level was fine. I did see how that the logic behind that level probably created a nightmare in Banjo-Tooie.
Yep.
Because that is the level that has a lot of set things up for later.
Mm-hmm.
Which guys, that doesn't feel good in a collectathon. I want to be collecting things, not setting up events to happen that will lead me to the next event I have to cause to get one collectible. That isn't good.
And if you die, it will undo the steps.
That's every single one of collectible in Tooie. God.
Yeah, Tui's a tool. I'm gonna be honest. Watching Chris play Banjo-Kazooie, I was like, I should play that again. I should do it.
I am curious how much faster it would go if I did it again, knowing where everything is more or less.
Hmm.
It would probably at least be a couple hours faster. Also, fuck them for that final boss. Like the last phase of the final boss of Banjo-Kazooie literally feels like, hope you got the double health buff you get from almost 100%ing the game.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's just, I'm going to throw fireballs at you over and over and over as you fill holes with eggs. The fireballs will not track you, except sometimes they will, but sometimes they'll be predictive based on where you're going. Yes. And I almost think it reads your inputs. Because I tried that a bunch of times and could not figure out any way other than I'm going to get the double health and just go. And fucking she can hit me as many times as she's going to hit me. I have 16 hits. She's not going to hit me that many times before I fill this fucking thing with eggs and she dies.
That's how you do it.
So yeah, Banjo-Kazooie, not it was fine. It was fine. I'm sure that was actually on the Nintendo 64 it would have been a nightmare because if you died on the Nintendo 64, you lost all your fucking notes.
Yep. Fucking nightmare.
And I also imagine that it did not have endless draw distance on collectibles the way the fucking Series X has.
Mm.
It probably turned those off at a certain distance.
100%. It also ran worse and had fog, shitloads of fog.
So that's that. I also, because I'm deranged, was like, I'm gonna play Dante's Inferno.
Yeah, that's the thing I was alluding to earlier. I look on
God.
Twitter and I'm like, holy shit.
For half a second, I got to live in this beautiful world where I was like, why? Why is Chris playing Dante's? And then I realized probably why, and now I'm here in this world.
I didn't have that much time to play that much. I only got to play about an hour of it. That game's immediately very funny because you learn that every executive at EA is a mutant. Like we rag on executives a lot, and that's a very game, like a consumerist thing to do. Be like, this executive doesn't know shit. I don't know anything. Like, that's very common, but it's like, this is where I'm like, oh, those executives are not capable of looking at a game and understanding why it's successful.
Mm-hmm.
Because immediately it's like, this is like if God of War didn't have money.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's kind of the fucking point of God of War.
Yes.
Like, God of War 1, we'll be generous and compare it to 1. God of War 1, you have this big set piece, you go through all kinds of fucking things on this ship, you fight a bunch of guys, you fight the Hydra, it's a big set piece, it's real cool. You have really impressive looking cutscenes for the time. It's a very, very high fidelity game. This has motion comic cutscenes that look about as good as DMC, the DMC's DLC.
Yeah.
Maybe one step better than that. The first thing that happens in that game is you fight a bunch of guys in a room. Then a cutscene happens and you're fighting a bunch of guys in a box that's trying to trick you into thinking it's a cemetery. Which, by the way, I expected a little bit more of an on-ramp into that game. Like,
No.
I didn't expect you to fight 5 guys, walk 10 feet, someone sneaks up behind you and stabs you in the spine with a dagger, and then Death is just there, and he's like, I'm taking you to hell, and you go, no, and kill Death. and take his scythe.
Oh my God.
And then you go back
Yeah.
home and find your wife's corpse, and her spirit talks to you, who does not have a shirt, and I assume her spirit will never have a shirt. It'll just be tits out the
Yeah,
whole time.
that was a
'Cause
big
God
part
of
of the
War had
marketing.
that. Like, you know, in God of War, it's like this thing that's a little bit hidden, and it's like a schlocky thing where Kratos has sex with these girls. In this, it's just your wife whose soul is being tormented, which, again, mutants in charge. But her soul's there, and then Lucifer just takes her, so you're cucked by Lucifer.
It's kind of like in those old oh my God, Frankenstein movies where they're like, we need to sex up, add rape. Like,
oh, yeah. They did do that.
yes.
I forgot
that a
that was a thing. Jesus.
Yeah, no, that's real.
Is that a thing in like Hammer horror movies? Is that
Yes.
what we're talking about?
Yeah, yeah, we're talking Hammer era horror movies. I think it's like the third one they did that or some shit. It was like, holy fuck. They're like, people will come to the theaters for this. And I'm like, okay. I guess Romans had gladiator like events. I who am I to judge past cultures?
Anytime you
Fuck,
die in
I
this
forgot.
game,
Uh-huh.
which is very easy because they're copying God of War, it just like immediately hard cuts to like a terrible looking like fire PNG with a Bible quote over it, with a Bible verse over it, like a random one.
I forgot. As someone who played religious games on the Super Nintendo and NES, it is just really funny to be like, here's this edgy game. Religious quote with fire.
And this is the thing that might just make me drop it. Like, I'm not sure if I'll beat it. Like, I want to know what's in Dante's Inferno. But this game has an experience system. Not like one in God of War where you get orbs and they upgrade your shit. It has that too.
Okay.
But it also has one where you have to build unholy or holy, because those are your two skill trees, experience to unlock more abilities. And you want to know how you get experience for those things?
Ooh, tell me.
By doing the God of War grab on enemies. That's the only way you get it as far in the game as I am now. So if you see a horde of low-level enemies coming at you, you can't just mash buttons and have fun and kill them. You have to carefully execute all of them in order to get the experience to unlock new levels of abilities to buy.
I'm going insane. Bob, is that not also a thing in Lords of Shadow? Don't they rob you of a huge amount of payout if you do not grab them to finish?
I think so. I think there is some stupid system like that in Lords of Shadow.
What the fuck's wrong with these people? What the fuck is wrong with them?
So you grab them and then you can either execute them or absolve them. So, and absolving increases your holy experience, and executing them increases your unholy experience.
I don't remember Dante Alighieri being a priest.
I mean, in this, you're some crusader. In Chris,
Yeah,
I
you're
don't know.
some random crusader named Dante.
Oh.
Yeah. I need to know if my memory just making this up or if this happened. Did your main character cheat on his wife by raping people?
Yes.
Okay. I wanted to make sure that was there. God, what a miserable game.
But it was the cheating that was the real bad.
Because that's like the very first cutscene where it's like this evil, because you're a crusader, and it's like the evil bishop saying, "You will be resolved of all your sins," and all the crusaders going, "Yeah," and then doing bad things, and then like Death tells Dante he's going to hell, and he starts shitting and pissing and crying and be like, "But the bishop said, but he said." And then you just decide to kill Death. It's not implied why Dante can do this. I have to assume that everybody who dies just gets a chance to boss fight Death.
Right.
And only
Nobody
this guy
thinks of
was
it.
able to do it.
That would have really changed Pill and Ted if they could just beat him to death.
And then once he escapes Death in the beginning, he does that edgy thing where he sews the cross into his chest, which is so dumb.
Yep. I remember, like, because you remember 7th Gen.
Yeah, I was like, this feels like a therapy meeting for fucking Chris. And it was a 7th Gen AAA game, and then it did a stupid thing. I know, Chris.
Like, this game was even, it was that in 7th Gen.
Yes.
Yes. So that's an extra layer because we're numb to the background radiation of 7th Gen at the time, by and large.
They just so obviously saw like a Kratos character and didn't understand what made that cool in any way. So they just made a horrible person who was horrible in every way. Mm-hmm. And that's not appealing.
They saw Kratos and said, what if he said slurs? And then someone at some point in development said, we really can't.
The intro section before you die is also very funny because you're seemingly just a normal crusader. Which, by the way, you're killing like random Persians, I guess, in that intro. It's the Crusades.
Mm-hmm.
Or I guess they would be like Muslims. They put like a really terrible looking turban guy model on the zombie man animations, like on the skeleton for that intro scene, because that's obviously the only time those things are going to appear, and they don't have very long to spend on them.
Do they make bone rattling sounds when they move? That's the important question.
Also, you can double jump in that intro, so it's like you already have superpowers.
That's one of the things you get when you take the cross.
How do you think that
you're absolved of sins? No one's allowed to steal your property, and you get a double jump.
Wow.
How else does he beat Death? You gotta have the double jump.
It's like fucking Super Mario RPG. They're like, how do I know you're really Dante? Boing boing.
Sam.
But that's it. I'm gonna attempt to beat it. I might just reach the point where I'm like, I don't care about experience. Just give me. I need to know what's in this terrible story.
Yeah, it's one of, I'm with you.
I need to know what you think boss fights are.
Yeah, we've had that same gut feeling of I need to know what's in the fucking box.
And I didn't have to pay any
Carpenter's
money because
Frank
it's on
Miller's.
Game Pass.
Oh, cool. Glad it's on Game Pass. I
don't think it has any enhancement features though.
As I see this fucking tweet where it's just like I'm playing Dante's Inferno, I'm like, Chris is just doing one of our death streams, but not for anybody, and probably has, I don't know, a 40 taped into one of his hands. This is self-destructive behavior.
Okay, it might be in 4K. I can't tell because so many parts of the thing I'm sure just look that bad.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest.
Tilting my head. I'm like, is this 4K? Is this 1080? It's definitely not 720.
Because every game you play on back compat on the Series X adds anisotropic filtering, so all the textures look sharper. Even I have that problem sometimes where I'm like, this fucking clearly looks better than it did. Is it because it's higher res, or is the anisotropic that important? So, could just be that. You should have to play. Just to be clear, you should have to play the PS3 version. Go on, though.
That was how it is the lead platform back in the day.
That's
it was
true.
The
For that
Divine
and
edition.
Dead Space.
Yeah.
Now, see, this is actually an incredibly evil trap because I'm playing the Series X version for myself, which means when Dan and Bob inevitably stream it, they have to play the PS3 version.
I wouldn't have it any other way. It's just the opening of the fucking Da Vinci Code, and I'm just.
Anyway, the ranged weapon tutorial that also teaches you how experience works. At the end of it, like a cross falls over and you have to walk across it across a chasm.
Mm-hmm.
And it clips into the ground to like form a perfect ramp. I foolishly thought I could run up that, but you can't. You have to jump onto it, and trying to run up on it delayed me just long enough for the ground underneath me to fall and me to die and have to do the entire tutorial segment again because they checkmark you before it.
Yeah, that's a 7th gen game you've described there. And it was brown and it ran bad. Yep.
That's all I played.
And for anyone who doesn't know why Chris may have played Dante's Inferno, it's almost definitely because it shows up for a brief bit and Jesus Hates You Now.
That's part of it. But also like Solstice hurt me so bad. I'm like, I need to know what the bottom is.
Set a pain threshold.
That's
right?
self-care. I need to recontextualize my pain by feeling something worse. Wow, I had it so good back then. I wish I'd appreciated it.
I need to shove the second knife in to get the first knife out.
That's what we call a theme month.
You want to be able to remove the knife, but, still staunch the bleeding.
Yes, obviously.
It's a cycle of violence.
Oh. Did you play anything else, Chris?
No.
You know what else is a cycle of violence?
The Podlords?
Yes, that's right. The Podlords is a cycle of violence.
Oh, cycles.
So comfortable here in the Podlord dimension.
Oh, fuck. The Podlords.
That's right. The cycles.
Oh my god.
Tell them about the circles.
Yes, that's right. The cycles of violence. Cycles of violence such as E. Lee Broyles, Corey Brown, getting jump scared by British people in the pharmacy isekai.
Boy.
Oi? Red Blaze 27, Suzu Shiro, Emperor Zero, Shibuya Gato. Check something out. Okay. No. I did not have an image for this one.
Oh no.
Thank God. For a second, I didn't think I would have a bit this week. Thanks for dying, Stadia. They say at the last second, even though they didn't get the image in time. 101 Shades of Wonderful Remastered. WTF Spider-Man. They are always watching.
No.
It's an awful hairstyle.
Inside you, there are two Blacephalon.
Which one's real? We'll never know.
The one's real and probably from a Cartoon Network series. DFW 3K. Gamers deciding what brand of space heater to use this winter.
Why not both?
Because you'll be on fire.
In this economy?
Trade offer. We receive Atlas year. You receive enough funds to make a food reaction video in Asia. Now, let me explain to you numbers. Kristen. BN12. Figma Demifiend Nocturne and Raido Kuzunoha Devil Summoner Serotonin Edition. My Retrovision HD cable or HD Retrovision cables came in, which means I can finally replay Pure K-Word with VRR enabled.
Nice.
Kyle Bjork. Iron Aggro. Blig the Blue. Salute this boo. Monster Hunter. Ryzen and Raiden. Splatoon secret levels be like. I can't believe I'm falling underneath this rug I pointed at and said I definitely wouldn't fall under. Oh no! Yoda? Maybe for you, but not for Bob video games. Gamers try not to dox themselves saying slurs and Overwatch challenge starts now.
Good luck.
You'll need it. Monty and Bellamy snuggled in a tent listening to BTD.
Aw.
Indigo Sykes. Nintendo made 3 ways in Splatoon more realistic. You can never find one. Congrats, Team Gear.
Oh.
Phil Harrison claims another victim. The Queen has fallen, ho. Long live the King Frost he-ho. The Scringly Dingly Raccoony Sly Cooper plush. I want it.
Fair.
It's so good.
Unfortunately, it's only available via PS3 streaming.
Oh no, I only get to look at this plush macro blocked and with a delay. Shinji16 and Lexi want to remind you that you are valid and you deserve to be happy. And personal observation, it appears Lexi wants to do that from a safe distance. Yes. Trigger designing women that inflict mortal brain disease like 6 setup, sweep, whiff 2 jabs, hold up forward, and then eject the disc and snap it in half. I fucking hate this game. The Super Mim. Taken from his home, but not from our hearts. Hashtag justice for grub snacks. I'm sorry, that motherfucker needs to evolve before the end of the fucking game.
Very unfortunate.
I'm a patient man. I am not that patient. Sarlene. Timothy Pfister is proud to be one of the tens of participants in the Dio Field Sweep. Project Feudal Quest. Bearded Joe. Pleochrome. Krunglespum. So this is why they call it the Skeleton Dome. Noodle got a bail for now, but will be returning soonish. And Soul Hackers has put Lord Richter in a mood for traditional SMT. Thank you very much To our podlords.
What the fuck?
Thank you, Pod Lord.
Thank you, Podlords.
Did you find this or make
It
it?
comes with it.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it's clearly from somewhere local.
Yeah, right? I've been to a place like that.
Yep, both of those things were in frame when that picture was taken.
Oh, definitely.
Absolutely. You know it,
Yeah,
bro.
for sure.
It's so real.
And if you'd like to be in frame when a picture is taken, you can donate to our Patreon at patreon.com/gbpodcast. For as little as $5 a month, you get early access to Chugging Bleach, our Bleach review podcast. We review all of Bleach. Extended armchair dev pitches and game premonitions with those shows force us to leave ideas on the cutting room floor. And a patron-exclusive show one a month where you get to vote on what good or bad thing we have to watch and talk about. That's patreon.com/gbpodcast. And if you don't have any money, you can always help us by telling people about this stream, hosting us on Thursday before they remove that feature. Just spreading the word in general. That's patreon.com/gbpodcast. I have another thing I had to talk about. I forgot and I remember now. Fuck Microsoft. In the upper left of the Xbox dashboard, it has your gamer tag, right?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Except it fades in and out to your real name and email intermittently.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Why
Isn't
does
that
it do
cool?
that?
I don't know why it does that. One
Why
time
would
I
it
booted
need
my
to do
Xbox
that?
and it showed my phone number on screen. It was all the screen was. Hey, this is your phone number. I'm like, well, I'm never touching a fucking I'm never booting an Xbox on stream ever again. If it's not on before the stream, not turning it on. Because that one was random.
Why do you need, I almost accidentally doxed myself posting a picture of me installing Dante's Inferno.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, what the fuck do you mean it does that?
I don't know. Humans don't work there. That's all I know.
And there's probably some menu you can dig into to deactivate this, but it shouldn't be there to begin
Right.
with.
The default behavior of this should not be that, especially in the modern age.
No.
It doesn't make sense at any point in time, but it especially is a bad idea now.
Even if you have a guest at your house, you don't want to know your email.
Right? Fuck you, man. That connects to my fucking Patreon for all my porn artists I follow. People are like, he's really signing up for that with game at GigaBoots? Yeah, you got me, chat. Here we got news. I have really quick news.
Okay.
They delayed Skull and Bones.
You don't say.
Yeah, what a shock.
Ah.
The game
So
with
let's
no
see.
real game behind the scenes that was doing a hell march towards a date that nobody saw coming gets delayed at the last second to end of fiscal year. How promising.
Has the UN held a vote to condemn this action?
I don't know. We'll just have to wait.
I have to assume that just Microsoft and Sony looked at it and was like, even with our not giving a shit, limitations, we cannot pass this. This cannot pass cert.
Right?
Like, come on, man. Singapore's being a real dick about this. Just let it on.
They're literally going to declare war on us.
Yeah, there's no way that Ubisoft gives a shit at all about this game at this point. They have to get it out to not be sued.
Yeah.
So the fact it was delayed is so obviously Microsoft or Sony going, no, we learned our lesson with Cyberpunk a little bit. No, make it fucking work.
Sony's like, we learned our lesson with Cyberpunk, and Microsoft's like, yeah, me too. What was that again?
Who?
What was the lesson? Because it got delisted on Sony.
Yeah, they just let it run.
And it
on
was the
Xbox.
fucking weirdest moment because I saw a bunch of Xbox people come out and be like, sick dub for Xbox. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
We can pay for a game that's patently broken.
Like, all right. So that's the thing. Please look forward to it at the end of your fiscal year. Sackboy: A Big Adventure leaked that it was coming out, and then within 12 hours had the trailer really come out. It's gonna have 21:9. It's gonna run at 120 hertz. It's got
Nvidia leak once again undefeated.
oh yeah, 100%.
As it was foretold in the scrolls.
I think this game's really cool. I don't know that I like it enough to double dip on PC, especially at full price.
Oh yeah, of course it's that. Jeez.
Yeah, of course. Well, I'm sure its full price is lower than normal full price because it wasn't even I think it was like the only PS5 launch title that wasn't 70
Probably
from Sony. Yeah, but that's neat. Another tech segment this week, guys. AMD announced the new CPUs. Fun fact about CPUs: this is as it was before in the before times. CPU runs at a certain level of performance. You stick a cooler on it, it runs cooler. No, we're done with that. This new AMD CPU runs at 95 degrees Celsius. You stuck a better cooler on it? Fuck you. It still runs at 95. You just get more performance. AMD's like, this is normal behavior. That's how it's working. That's how we designed it. It'll be fine. And everyone's like, this is terrifying. Just so we're clear. The interesting thing about this generation of CPUs, absolutely fucking unhinged levels of performance. Unless you play video games in specific cases, then their prior CPU actually comes out ahead in a few use cases because they came up with the amazing technology that really only works for video games, where if you stick a huge fucking wad of L3 cache on your CPU in video games, that will help your performance insanely. You don't need to make a better processor. You don't need a better out-of-order branch predictor. Also, no, just stick a shitload of memory on it because video games are that dynamic that it needs to be able to pull anything at random. So, as I understand it, they're going to do another version of this like in 6 months with a giant wad of memory on the fucking thing. So, if you're a gamer and you're primarily concerned with gaming, just sit it out. If you're into productivity software, then this is honestly fucking insanely good performance. It's expensive though because it's DDR5 only. You gotta live. You gotta live on the edge. You gotta live on the edge. But great CPUs. 95 degrees Celsius. There's not a space heater mode on this, I guess. I don't know.
The real question though, Dan, is it the most consistent performance?
Bob,
Obviously.
Bob, I'm happy to tell you it is. It is incredibly consistent.
Great.
Mm-hmm. I'm glad you asked these hard-hitting questions. This is why I come to you. Because I know Bob will keep me honest. But yeah, that CPU looks really fucking baller. Intel announced a GPU in the mid-range is 329. That's all I know. I don't really care. We're going to move on. Bob.
Yeah, sure.
What you got?
I got...
Start with your last one. We're exiling that shit out of this podcast right now.
Overwatch 2 news. Yeehaw. Woo. They detailed their first-time user experience, which is for people who did not play Overwatch 1 and are jumping in on Overwatch 2.
Now, real quick, Aggro, you didn't buy Overwatch 1, did you?
I did not buy it, no.
Oh, what this could be Aggro. Okay, Bob, what's Aggro got to look forward to in Overwatch 2?
No, I saw the trailer for that new character. No. Whatever happened with Overwatch 1 is over.
Well, Bob, let's make up a pretend first-time user.
Okay.
Their name's going to be Cool Aggro. Now, what is Cool Aggro's first-time experience with Overwatch 2? Is it cool?
New players will unlock different game modes and characters to play as across 100 matches.
Okay.
That might be balanced in some way that makes sense. I don't know.
So
That
Overwatch,
seems like a lot.
Overwatch 2 is free to play, but you can't play as the cast of Overwatch 1 until you play 100 matches?
Yes, but it sounds like if you play as a group, most restrictions are lifted. So it sounds like you can do most any game mode, but I'm not clear on if you can play any character.
What?
Because they still want you to be able to just jump in with your friends, I guess. And this seems like something around getting people learned up on how to play each character in a more natural way. But they don't go into detail on exactly what that entails across these 100 matches.
I see chat entertaining that this is to stop Smurf accounts. I don't know why that would be that much of a concern.
I know, right? They also locked competitive behind winning 50 quick play matches, which I think is fine.
That's funny as shit.
Yeah, it's like, let's be honest, if you haven't won 50, you probably shouldn't be in there.
Yeah,
it's the Sharks. I mean, it's nothing but Sharks.
This literally does seem aimed at that, though. Like, that qualifier specifically seems aimed at Smurfs.
Mm-hmm.
That's fucking weird.
Yeah.
That's bizarre.
And they also have the new stuff where you need a phone number. So that also sounds like
God, yeah.
Yeah, that's
You
insane.
need a
It
phone,
sucks.
not just a phone number. It cannot be a voice over internet protocol number, and it cannot be a prepaid phone.
There's no way it can't not be a prepaid phone.
That's what they fucking said.
They're fucking lying. There is no way they're going to be like, we checked you're on Straight Talk. You're done. Looking forward to Overwatch 2, where I can't play it because my phone isn't through Verizon.
Right.
yeah.
This is just so they can sell a big chunk of phone numbers.
Mm-hmm. It's just like, I'm on a prepaid plan at Verizon. Can I play Overwatch too?
No, you're not on a real Verizon
sorry,
plan.
Overwatch is more of a premium experience.
Yeah, it's a
I'm
premium
sorry, did you just tell me I couldn't play your free-to-play game because I'm poor?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there some sort of dissonance in that thought?
It's a brand new world.
Hey, Bob.
I think it's funny because I had to set up a phone number with them back after Diablo 3 launched because my account was constantly hacked otherwise.
Hey, Bob, why was your account constantly hacked for Diablo 3?
Because they added a real money auction I didn't interact with even once.
Fuck Blizzard. I hate them so goddamn much. They're so fucking stupid.
Yeah, I've had one of those
Scummy fuck.
like BlizzNet authenticators forever since
Yeah.
Yep.
I've still got the
Since
cat-themed one.
that shit. Otherwise, you got hacked because they had no security and in no way tried to. That's the thing. Like you could say, oh well, they need a phone number to moderate, unless you have this thing called pattern recognition that we evolved tens of thousands of years ago to help us escape predators.
Uh-huh.
And be like, no, Blizzard doesn't care about that. They never have. They're incompetent in every single way. Things like that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Welp. Let's move on.
Sure. They announced an Onimusha anime. This is going to be on Netflix.
Is Jean Reno in it?
They haven't said. I don't think so, though. It's directed by Takashi Miki. Or Miike.
hell yeah.
Miike. But he's the chief director. I don't know exactly what that means. It's a little vague.
He's directing the Chiefs.
And then the director of it is Shinya Sugiya.
I didn't make that joke because I knew you'd make a face at me if I did.
Anyway, the real director of this directed the Dragon's Dogma anime.
Oh, fuck
This
yeah.
is also the animation studio.
Yes,
of
this is the
Dragon's
same-
Dogma anime.
Same animation studio. I am worried now.
I look forward to having to watch this.
Absolutely.
Takashi Miike wouldn't associate with bad things. Would?
Dan, you don't get over 100 movies in your name without associating with some pretty bad movies.
Yeah, he was involved in the fucking Terraformars movie. So
Oh. I see.
Yeah, his name's on a ton of stuff. It doesn't give me a ton of confidence.
Damn.
at least this like once again on that Nvidia leak was Onimusha. So maybe soon.
Right? This does give us a reassured confidence that they care about this franchise.
Yeah, thank God. Jesus.
I believe it's about Masashi Miyamoto this time.
Oh, really?
So that's kind of neat.
Yeah, that's
brand new
weird.
story
Maybe they're
and-
going in that. Maybe they're going in that direction for the new game.
Maybe, but I feel like each time, like reminds me when they did 2 with Jubei Yagyu, of they're open to just doing some other historical figure, which is neat.
They should do a fucking Bakumatsu era Onimusha.
Yes.
With Samurai Deeper Kyo.
Let's see. The E3 2023 got announced. It's coming back, guys.
Yeah.
It's going to be in the Los Angeles Convention Center like usual.
Cool.
Takes place June 13th to 16th.
Cool.
There will be partner showcases starting on June 11th. So that'll be like anyone who signs up for it. I don't think anyone's actually said.
I mean, yeah, that would be when you would expect a Sony and Microsoft to pop their stuff. Yeah.
So the idea does seem to bring it back, like rein things into this 1 week of good stuff. It's going to be split into business days and gamer days.
You say that, but the 15th is covered on both.
Yes, because the gamer days are technically in a separate hall from the rest of the event.
You can't let gamers and business overlap.
No.
Do not let them mix.
Those two groups want vastly different things.
They're going to be shilling the G Fuel at you.
So yeah, that's the 13th and 15th are the business exclusive days, and the 15th and 16th are the gamer days.
If they had one hall, you'd get some report about some insane person doing like a wrestling spear on Patrick Klepek or something.
Now, while I don't wish that on Patrick Klepek, that would be
It
pretty
would be
funny.
really fucking funny.
Yes.
But this makes sense because in the past we've heard story of like they let E3 be more open, thus they took away a lot of actually good demos because they were afraid of showing them to the public.
Why would you be afraid of showing your game early to the public?
Yeah, and we find that out every week.
Yeah, so I'm worried about that angle of this.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, why is the gamer day overlap at all?
Yeah, that's. I guess they'll keep it very well sanctioned off is the idea, but
yeah,
who knows?
I trust the E3 Association.
You got to
They're
give
so
them the
professional.
opportunity for the heist. you know?
Yes.
Are you a
That's true.
gamer or are you a gamer or business? Business.
Gamer, business, or Fortnite.
Now remember, everyone, I'm not telling you to do this. This is just completely unrelated advice.
Mm-hmm.
You walk into some place like you're supposed to be there, nobody's going to question you.
It's true.
Ladder's now banned at E3.
But this is a first E3 run by ReedPop, the people who did packs and stuff. So who knows? This might be well done. It might not be. We don't know yet. I'm excited. I'm excited the E3 is coming back.
I'm excited it's all going to be 1 week again.
Yes, absolutely.
Same. I need everyone to file under this umbrella so that way I can live.
Mm-hmm.
And I need Sony to stop being a pissy little baby and also put their shit that week.
Yeah.
Yeah, they win. They don't need to worry about losing here.
Right. They're not going to look that bad compared to anyone else because Nintendo's going to look the best and then the other two, you know.
Yeah, that's how it usually goes.
That's how it's been going. As it turns out, when your games are made by 800 people, COVID hits you hard.
Yeah. Magical Drop 6 got announced for Switch. For people to know, this is a block stacking puzzle game.
Have you ever seen an animated GIF of a pink-haired girl wearing like a sash's boobs bouncing on the internet? It's
Yeah.
from Magical Drop.
That's Magical Drop.
Yes.
I remember years ago this coming up on something else. Like, wait, I've seen this.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's the Newgrounds girl. Yes.
yeah.
I mean, no, I haven't. What is this?
This is published by Forever Entertainment and made by 2 subsidiary companies of Forever Entertainment. It looks terrible.
It looks better than Magical Drop 5.
What a
What
bar.
a bar.
Forever
I just
Entertainment
think
needs
it's
to stop.
important for that context.
Yes.
Yeah, they sure do.
Need to stop them.
Like criminals were way too nice to the Panzer Dragoon remake,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and then a bunch of people got confused.
This is just they get access to IPs, but you know, maybe that's fine. Maybe Magical Drop deserves this.
Maybe instead of cool fluid animation, they just weirdly shake like they're VTubers.
Oh yeah,
Oh, that's insulting to VTubers.
It is, honestly.
It's 2022, Bob. Unless Way Forward is making it, you're in Tween Town.
Yeah.
Or Future Club. Unless they're Future Club or Way Forward is making it, it's you're in Tween Town, buddy.
I'd rather have 3D models than what they've done here.
I mean, yeah, that's
I don't know about that because they'd look really bad.
the idle animation is just too much. It just keeps shifting up and down, and it's like, calm the fuck down. You don't need to move this much.
Or if they had actually outsourced it to VTubers, like someone who makes VTuber models would make much better things than this.
100%.
Let's see. Wild Hearts, the actual trailer for this came out. This is the thing teased a few weeks ago as being the Koei Tecmo EA Originals collaboration project.
Mm-hmm.
So now the trailer's come out. The game's going to come out February 17th next
Which
year.
is fucking insane
Yeah.
to announce that 5 months in advance.
Right.
4.5 months in advance.
This is clearly Tokiden. So
Yeah.
it's a Monster Hunter knockoff, but with ancient Japan with fantasy stuff. But they've added Fortnite to it, so now you can build.
Yeah, it also has way more money than Toukiden ever did.
Oh yeah, because it's not meant to be on portable.
Right.
So that's neat.
I don't know. I get the vague stench of death on it.
Yeah.
It's like, I think the name Wild Hearts 1 isn't very good.
No, that's not, like, you should have something in there that indicates, no, this is something for the weebs. And the Wild Hearts does not have that.
Hey, what's the name of Monster Hunter? What do you do in that game?
Resource management.
Also, I think the monsters are kind of boring compared to Monster Hunter's monsters, the ones they've shown at least.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like Monster Hunter has like the fucking pickle dragon, it has all these monstrosities, and then this is like we got a big boar with like lava tusks. I'm like, okay. We got like a big turtle with like plants on its back. Okay. That's kind of it. I'll go now.
I'm sorry.
I kind of just want to see something with this much money applied to a Dynasty Warriors game. It's kind of frustrating that I have to sit here.
Yeah, they had. Well, EA would never shell out for that. EA has to shell out for something they think can become a service game. Which I feel like the reason Monster Hunter kind of succeeds as a sort of service game is that it isn't one. It's just like, oh, you pick it up and you kill a couple monsters and then you come back in 6 months.
Yeah.
It's not like, play the event. It's here for 48 more hours. You need to do it to get this cosmetic that will never return.
So here's the number one reason why I think this is a terrible name, okay?
Okay. Yeah, I know.
I'm just saying. That game came out like in the last year and a half, I think.
Right?
Sayonara Wild Hearts. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Man, I feel bad for those devs. All their SEO just fucking imploded.
Yeah. Yeah. You got anything else, Bob?
No, that's it for my news.
That's it for the news. Bob's news is dead. Aggro, you got any live news?
Do I have any what news?
A live news, because Bob's is dead.
Well, apparently because I wasn't cool enough, Microsoft, in a spiteful show of solidarity with Sony, has debuted a new color for their controller, a mineral camo in, I've got the quote here, a collection of blues, grays, and navies. Because fuck me.
Aren't there a bunch of green Xbox controllers though?
Oh yeah, no, it's the timing. Really just kind of spit in the eye.
Too soon, Xbox. Too soon.
I mean, I've seen it. There's a couple of splotches of what you might call like a teal or like an aqua, a blue green.
Yeah.
All just towing right up to the line and then giving me the finger. Scorn.
Atmospheric horror game made by
Horror
Software.
Adventure game made by
With odd forms and somber tapestries.
That's a hell of a title. Way better than Wild Hearts.
Yes. I like that it's light novel lengths.
In a completely bizarre turn of events and potentially just to flex on Ubisoft, got its release date pushed up a week.
Cool.
So if you took off work to play Scorn at launch, I guess fuck you.
You play it a week late now. Is there a problem?
I'm going to go ahead and say that people working on Scorn are not aware that there are many jobs where you have to request 3 weeks in advance to get time off. Nice flex, though, I guess.
I feel bad that I misread that Scorn's name is Corn sometimes.
A new metal adventure with odd forms and somber
Yes,
tapestries.
This is no place for a mighty warrior.
Oh my god.
God damn it.
Hey, Bob.
Hey.
You remember that time the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia killed that journalist?
Yeah.
Cool. So Saudi government-funded conglomerate, the Savvy Gaming Group, who you might remember for spending a shit ton of money everywhere over the last year or so. Reportedly, now, a couple of the articles had different projections, either, in the near future or like this next year. are planning to spend $37 billion both buying and creating like 250 gaming companies, is what they said. They're trying to build an esports infrastructure in Saudi Arabia. They want to purchase a leading publisher and developer.
Ubisoft.
Yeah. They want to just buy their way into second place in the industry immediately. What's this motherfucker's name? Brian Ward, the CEO. He has stated that this has nothing to do with trying to clean up Saudi Arabia's image in the West and break into these markets. What
does their image matter? Our government gives them money no matter what.
Right. They're just really excited to bring Saudi Arabia's unique brand of killing journalists to the gaming industry's already rich tradition of worker oppression and open misogyny.
Wow, that's really great.
Earlier in the stream, when I said I knew where Phil Harrison was going to end up.
Oh, my God. He's the new CEO of Ubisoft. That's weird.
Brought to you by the country that's hosting a specific WWE pay-per-view where Roman Reigns fights Logan Paul.
Okay.
The future is really interesting.
But yeah, there's no way they don't buy Ubisoft, right? Like Ubisoft is now panhandling around like, please someone buy us. None of my sons want to inherit this business.
Yeah, I feel like nothing else is really up for purchase like them. Like EA is the only other big publisher left not in some scandal about being bought right now.
And even EA had like rumors, but wasn't there the EA is being bought by Amazon. Rumor?
Yeah.
So it could easily be this.
It's
too.
one of them too. Damn.
I guess Take-Two would be the other. Or sorry, 2K. 2K would be the other one that could potentially be purchased.
I know they have a lot of money in Embracer, so they could just buy Embracer. Totally.
They do. They have a lot of money in Embracer. They've been buying up a lot of shit. Like they say, it's to diversify the country's economy. Which I mean, I almost want to believe that because I'm like, Saudi Arabia, you've seen video games, right? Like, you know what's in them.
Yeah.
Why do you want to make them?
Well, because they'll make money, and that's more important than any other thing.
What
ideology isn't real? Only money is real. Except money isn't real.
Right?
But whatever.
Is it
Nothing
that fun?
is real.
That's fine.
So I guess look forward to beginning to grade the rest of the industry on a curve because you get to compare these companies directly to Saudi Arabia's royal family.
Cool.
Activision still fails.
And with that, we go to Chris for our last bit of news.
Kamar Soleimani's like breast milk. What? Ew.
Jesus. What's
Okay,
wrong with
so,
you
I
guys?
feel there is a very high chance Bobby Kotick has hired many people to assassinate other people.
Yeah, I want to make the moral judgment here very clear. I'm not saying that current American publishers wouldn't assassinate journalists if they thought they could get away with it.
Right.
They would.
We just don't know
would.
they have.
Right.
Yes.
Blaze Blue series creator Toshimichi Mori has left Arc System Works.
Fuck that. I like Blaze Blue.
Yeah, I wonder
have-
what the deal is.
Well, that Blaze Blue gotcha game tanked into the core of the earth almost instantly. And I imagine that he just looked around and was like, well, they're farming. We're doing the games for other people and Guilty Gear. They ain't making Blaze Blue anytime soon.
Yeah, that fucking sucks.
I guess I'll just go.
God, that sucks.
And like Blaze Blue got the end of its story more or less with Central Fiction. And then that Dark War game, which was him gonna be like, I'm gonna write so much shit for Dark War, it's gonna have so much content. Nobody cared, it's already shut down. I imagine just like, okay, I'm gonna leave. Like that failing had to have like impacted any chance of there being a new Blaze Blue 2.
That's fucking infuriating.
It's like fighting game players don't want to play these visual novels and other random gotcha games. Like that's not the same audience.
I'm sorry, your solo album didn't take off. I'm afraid no one wants a new Foo Fighters album.
Right?
It's just not gonna happen. I'm sorry.
So yeah, it's probably just that. I honestly wonder if it'll be like, here's something very similar to Blaze Blue with another publisher.
That would be
Like
great.
in the next while.
I like Blaze Blue more than Guilty Gear. I know that's a very unpopular thing.
I'm sure
but-
there's more visual novels that have come up since then that he can steal things from.
I can't wait to see his kickstarted Blaze Blue game.
Yeah, it always blows my mind when I booted up Central Fiction. It's like, oh, they just put an Attack on Titan character in here.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many characters
that was
like
funny.
that. They're
That
just
was
like,
fucking
wow.
hilarious. That was absolutely fucking hilarious when that happened. Because even I was like, wait a minute.
I know we already had Ginge from Bleach, but
Damn. Yeah, I don't know. Do you think they're gonna launch it? Well, they're like, welcome to our Kickstarter. Nya, my name is Nyao Kaka.
I don't even know if it'll be Kickstarter. Like maybe somebody will just give him money.
They gave me fucking a Namco studio and Unreal Engine 5. This rules.
yeah, I was like, he does seem like the Stein guy's high enough up to where he could just go start his own thing and with no problems.
Mm-hmm.
More Arc System news. Guilty Gear Zerd Rev 2 for PC is going to get rollback netcode. I hope at some point they bring it to the console version.
Yeah, I heard something about the console version.
That's harder.
The PS4 version has crossplay with PS3, so that makes it less likely. And it's like, take that out.
Yeah, take it out.
No one on Earth is playing the PS3 anymore.
Those 10 guys will be fine.
Okay,
They will move on.
here, I've solved the problem. Say, oh, it's a PS5 version now.
Yeah, I know, right?
Make it
Which it
exactly
needs.
the same, except it doesn't have crossplay.
Yeah.
Right. It
And
needs
maybe
something
can
like
render
that.
in a higher resolution.
I like the Exard Rev 2. I like that a lot. They have a lot of cool characters in there. I wanted to play more of it, but then, horrible netcode. If they did do a PS5 version, that also give them an excuse to dub it again. Because it's super weird to have done it for Exard 1 and then just not done it for any of the expansions. So it's like, we don't have a dub for any of the plot.
Yeah, that's fucking weird.
And I need Alfel to go on her 2-minute rant.
Yes.
In
No,
English.
that's important in English. Jesus Christ. How am I supposed to keep up with that?
Silent Hill, the short message was rated in Korea. I assume it'll be announced soon. That's probably the Annapurna thing from those rumors.
Okay.
That's okay.
It probably isn't, but it's okay.
That's okay.
I don't even like Silent Hill much, and I'm still just like, oh, you didn't deserve this.
It'll be fine.
Yeah, it's gonna be really funny when all this shit fucking fails and Konami's like, but you told us. I'm like, no, I'm sorry, you didn't listen enough. Shenmue had an anime on Adult Swim. They had one season. They were going to do a second season, and now they're not. It's been canceled. That is vaguely related to WB Discovery, so I have to assume that WB Discovery was just like, no.
What? Because I knew it was a team up between Crunchyroll and Adult Swim. I didn't know that WB was in there.
Adult Swim
Oh, yeah,
owns
because there's
them.
oh my god.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah.
I saw and watched
It's
it.
funny because when the Shenmue anime came out, I was like, maybe this will be the way the crazy man gets his insanely massive story that will never exist in game form out there. And then WB Discovery's like, no. By the way, WB Discovery being sued because they inflated their subscriber numbers by almost 10 million.
Would a corporation really do that? Inflate their numbers? Anyways, we're gonna start streaming on Facebook.
So when all these streaming services go under within the next couple of years when the recession hits, and you're like, why? They said they had so many subscribers.
Streaming services going down.
And finally, Stadia will shut down on January 18th, 2023. All purchases will be refunded.
Will they though?
I don't
Will all purchases be refunded?
Well, calling it a purchase means I would have to get something for the exchange of currency. I don't think they're refunding robbery.
You probably won't get a refund for the subscription, but if you actually purchased a Stadia game, maybe.
Yeah,
Now,
no, I bought the hardware and they're even refunding that.
I'm surprised they're refunding the controller.
Oh, they are fucking terrified of getting, because you need to understand, video game companies get away with some skeezy shit. Because they're video game companies. They're not Silicon Valley giants that are one of the 3 biggest companies in the world. Google has a bullseye on its fucking skull right now.
Yes.
In the current administration, in the current climate, they are like, here's all of your money back. We're so sorry. We're so sorry. And I'm like, I would feel almost sympathetic if you didn't sit there and go, I'm going to become the president of America, and you didn't graduate middle school. Like, there was no way this would work out for you. So how am I supposed to appreciate you saying, I'm sorry? You didn't think this through at all, you fucking idiot.
Dan,
now,
why are you afraid of the future of gaming?
I'm not afraid of the future of gaming. I love the future of gaming. It's just not this. This does not exist in the future of gaming.
But
now the funniest possible outcome of this, the absolute funniest, is if it leads to Final Fantasy 15 getting more DLC in the year of our Lord 2023 because that Stadia exclusive stuff no longer exists.
Yeah,
and they're like, well, we might as well just give it to people.
I wonder if there's even anyone left who can do that port of it, right? Of that stuff to the consoles.
That studio still exists, and Forspoken will be out about then, so...
Maybe they just put it in Forspoken.
Such content as a dungeon where you have to do platforming that everyone hates, a weird mini game that has animations that don't work, and a boss fight that everyone alive who has played it says is bad.
I need to express, at my current age, which is the same age as Pat, as I understand it, and that is now how I will say my age for the rest of time. I have no patience for people who say shit like, why are you guys lying? They didn't announce they're stopping Stadia for the last 3 months. This writing was on the wall. Every dev who just kept walking towards them, even this year. I'm sorry that you have a game coming out on November 1st on Stadia when the store just shut down because you cannot buy games anymore. It's gone. What were you thinking? I don't. What is it out there that lets people believe in such obviously bad ideas? Is it a lack of understanding what people want? Is it the belief that Google is so big that of course it would work? What led people to think for a moment at any point in time that this would exist for even the average Google product lifetime?
Yeah, like we stopped seeing Stadia events over a year ago. Like they obviously dropped all support for it.
You sit there and you look at that guy who made the tweet. I think his name was Justin. I don't remember his handle. But he made the tweet of the average amount of days a Google product stayed alive. And it was 1,460. And Stadia beat that by a year. Because it was expensive.
Yeah.
And you don't even need to understand technology. You just need to understand economics to know this was never going to work. And
game streaming is never going to work ever. It's certainly, Dan, you have the Luna controller, right?
Yeah.
Does that feel like a cheap piece of shit?
Yeah.
So, like, they can't even engineer the only thing you're going to actually own.
Yeah.
Like, they can't give you a good feeling controller. There are third parties making good feeling controllers. Just go to one of them, be like, shave off the symbols on the buttons. We'll take
it. Even that's too much work. They don't want to pay anyone else but themselves.
No. The funniest thing is, like, Amazon will do anything to get a microphone into your home.
Yes, absolutely anything.
They made a TV, for the love of God. Did you know that? Did you know you can buy a Fire TV?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure you should ever put those two words next to each other in a product name. Right next to Explode Phone. I'm not sure, but you can do that. And I just sat there going, man, that TV must be something. Is the soap opera mode always stuck on? What is there's going to be an extra layer of cursed other than there's a live mic in your fucking house.
Oh, the Amazon TV's a QLED.
It is, yes.
Of course
it is. But yeah, I just, as much as this should be a victorious moment for me, I just sit here and go, people never learn. This shit just keeps happening. I do wonder how long before Microsoft goes, nobody uses our streaming. It's not working. And I'm like, yeah, look at Sony. They did it the whole PS4 gen. No one gives a fuck. No one gives a fuck.
I imagine they'll probably just keep it because it costs, nobody uses it, so it costs so little.
Yeah.
And there will always be some Microsoft fanboy being like, I used it once, it seems good.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like,
I
but
didn't
you
feel any
don't
lag.
continue to use it. So
I didn't feel any lag. I don't know. I didn't feel gravity.
No, I honestly think the established video game companies are never going to stop trying this.
Yeah.
Every generation, they're going to come back and say, oh, it works now.
Yes.
And relaunch this shit.
Yes.
Forever.
Yes. I mean, we have the AV1 codec now. Once they figure out a way to cheaply put that into servers, because right now it's so CPU intense, it's like, fuck that. They're going to be like, quality's better than ever, you guys. And that's going to happen this gen, most likely, where they're going to be like, guys, it's better than ever.
I don't know. I think seeing the level of shit Google is eating with this, where it's like, you made zero money.
You made unmoney. You spent money to lose money.
And then you have to give all the money back.
Right. There's so many layers of you did not make money out of this. It's nuts. But yeah, no, it's gonna keep happening. Forever. Yeah. Until, capitalism collapses. Anyway, let's just say at the end of the day, there's nothing stupider than we expected you to accept the input lag, accept the lower image quality, accept the smaller catalog, and spend full price for games and a subscription for the streaming service itself.
Yeah, that was insane.
That was never going to happen. Anyone with a brain and an understanding of what dollars means would have known that wouldn't have worked. Anyway, that's it for news. We escaped the news segment. Good job, everyone. We passed the dungeon. The raid boss didn't get us. Hey, Aggro, what do you have going on in the next week?
I'm probably going to put some more of that puzzle together.
Oh, you're not going to commit to finishing the puzzle?
No. I'm not.
Darn it.
It's 1,000 pieces, and there's like 2 colors in it.
Come on, Aggro, just one 12-hour stream.
Hey, Bob, what do we have going on in the next week?
We're playing Armored Core 5 in Verdict Day, and I'm horrified.
I'm super excited. You know why?
Why is that?
I've been through all the rest of Armored Core. Nothing can hurt me now.
That's what you think.
Yeah, you don't know that. Why do you say things like that?
No.
I'm so afraid this is going to be another age again. Because it's 13 hours.
I don't think it's going to be another age. I don't think it'll quite be that. But nothing can hurt me. I'm experiencing what they call the runner's high. This is the theme month high.
Cute Dan with like 3 fewer limbs going, oh shit, it turns out something could hurt me.
A fucking dude.
I'm not built different, I guess.
A fucking dude will run up and stab me with a knife, and I won't feel it until the month is over. And then I will collapse. Then I will be done. We're also doing more Pokemon Moon, which I'm very excited for.
Yes.
I'm also very excited for Armored Core 5 as I just go, what the fuck is this? You made some third thing and called it Armored Core because 4 is so different and 5 is that again in a completely different direction.
Yes.
Yeah, if I lost my limbs, I would simply become human plus plus. I would just do that. Why doesn't everybody do that? Agra, why are you too poor to play this free-to-play game?
God, I hate our cyberpunk dystopia.
Hey, Chris, what are you doing in the next week?
I'm gonna stream the poorly emulated version of Super Mario Sunshine on the Super Mario All-Stars 3D collection.
Ooh.
I don't know why I'm gonna do it, but I am.
Yeah, I was going to say, they have those Wii hacks to do 60 frames per second and other cool stuff. I know the next time I play Sunshine is going to be that. 'Cause I would like to see it run correctly. That'd be neat. But, you're going to be streaming that?
Yeah, I'm gonna be streaming that.
He's going to stream Sunshine. Okay, I know you don't do face cam stuff, but you're going to wear a tourist shirt just to, like...
Sure, I have some.
Yes.
I want to hear that polyester wrestling.
You're gonna have the fucking Kill Bill sword.
What the fuck?
I'm thinking of Florida things. Anyway, that's gonna do it for this week on Big Think Dimension. Thank you very much for listening to this episode of Big Think Dimension. This was only made possible because of your support over at patreon.com/GB Podcast, where you get all sorts of extra content and early content from our shows such as Chugging Bleach and our unannounced podcast series starting soon. Head on over to patreon.com/GB Podcast today and maybe learn the secret of what's in the box.